Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
The wind howled outside, carrying with it a week's worth of relentless snow. The ground was buried beneath a thick white sheet, and the cold was sharp enough to pierce bone. Inside, Kong Xiaoqiao sat silently by the floor-to-ceiling window, a glass of red wine cradled in her fingers. Though the room was warm like spring, she felt a chill that dug deep into her bones, a cold that wasn't from the weather, but from within. Her heart, it seemed, had frozen solid, yet her face showed no sorrow. She leaned back, her curvaceous figure shifting lazily as she adjusted into a more comfortable position. Her gaze was distant, her expression a strange mix of indifference and detachment. But soon, her clear black eyes turned icy and sharp. She raised the wine glass with a delicate hand, studying the crimson liquid with a faint, curious smile. The wine, rich and red like fresh blood, touched her lips as she sipped. In that moment, with that expression, she looked less like a woman, more like a beautiful, blood-drinking witch born from the snowstorm. She swirled the glass slowly, eyes fixed on the dark red pool within. "It's almost time," she murmured to herself. "He should be on his way by now. I wonder, when his blood spills across the snow, will it be beautiful? Will the snowflakes fall gently over it like a painting?" Her voice was soft. Then she began to laugh. Quiet at first, then louder, laughter that echoed in the room like a spell breaking. But even as she laughed, tears fell. Then came the crash. She hurled the glass to the floor. It shattered into shards, red wine spilling like blood over the white marble tiles. "What a joke," she choked, her voice trembling with bitterness. "What a goddamn joke. My entire life was nothing but a joke." She clutched her head, fingers digging into her scalp as if trying to claw out the memories. But they wouldn't stop. No matter how hard she tried, they kept coming. That day, everything changed. She had spent more than 2 decades stubbornly walking a path she thought was right, only to lose everything in the most humiliating way. If she hadn't accidentally overheard their conversation the day before she was discharged from the hospital, she might have never known. She might have died oblivious. Funny how fate works. That snowy day should have been her happiest, her wedding day. But instead, she'd received the news of her father's death, a man she had spent most of her life resenting. She loathed him for chasing power and pride, for throwing away everything, including her mother. She hated him. She had prayed for his death. And yet, when the news came, her heart felt hollow. She had run out in her wedding dress, desperate and broken. She didn't know how the accident happened, just that the brakes failed. She lived barely, but her legs were gone, her face ruined. She missed everything. Her own wedding, her father's funeral. By the time she woke up, it was all over. Weeks later, in the hospital, she sat in a wheelchair, gliding through the long corridor in silence, until she looked back and saw them. Zhang Rue, her husband, technically, legally, even if the marriage hadn't been consummated. And beside him, her stepsister, Kong Xiaoqiao. Younger, prettier, a daughter born from her father's second wife. A woman Kong Xiaoqiao had never once treated kindly. And now she knew why. They stood together, close. Zhang Rue gently supporting Xiaoqiao's waist as they whispered and smiled. So intimate, so familiar. Neither of them had seen her. Then, Xiaoqiao suddenly threw a tantrum, stomping next to a marble pillar just behind Kong Xiaoqiao. "Zhang Rue, what the hell do you mean? I've been here 3 months. Are you really going to pretend it never happened?" Zhang Rue glanced around, lowering his voice. "Please, baby, keep it down. You'll hurt our son. How could I deny you? You're so beautiful. You think I want that disfigured thing, scarred up like a monster?" Kong Xiaoqiao's anger faded into satisfaction. She raised her chin smugly. "Oomph. You better know what's good for you." She paused, then added coldly, "But what about her? I can wait, but our child can't. You've already gone this far. Why not finish the job? Let her die. She's barely alive anyway, and she's still in the way. So annoying." Zhang Rue paled and clamped his hand over her mouth. "Sure, Keep your voice down. The walls have ears. Don't say things like that out here. Chow Chow rolled her eyes and pushed his hand away. There's no one here. What are you afraid of? She's just as disgusting as her father. Bah, back then, he was just some broke teacher. My mom didn't even care and still married him. That was his damn luck. And yet he still had the nerve to act noble, talk about having a family. Please. Once my uncle stepped in, the divorce happened overnight. All these years, our family fed him, clothed him, gave him status. And what did he do? He turned on us. He actually had the guts to report my uncle. That bastard bit the hand that fed him. If that's not ingratitude, then what is? Kong Chow Chow hissed. He wasn't even a saint himself. Greedier than my uncle, more cunning than anyone else. And yet, this self-righteous bastard gave away everything. Every last cent. Tell me, is he insane? Donating all that money to build some Hope Primary School? What a joke. She sneered, venom dripping from every word. If my mother and I hadn't moved fast and gotten rid of him before anyone caught on, the rest of the money would have gone with him. Even then, the old bastard had a backup plan. He secretly left a bunch of properties and shops to Kong Xiao Qiao, worth tens of millions, and threw us scraps. Huh, the nerve. Zhang Rui didn't flinch. His expression didn't change. Calmly, he said, Chow Chow, save those words for when we're home. You can't be too careless talking like this outside. I know you're pissed. I am too. But trust me, once Kong Xiao Qiao gets discharged in 2 days, we'll make her pay. She's crippled now. You'll be able to do whatever you want with her. He allowed a cold laugh. You think you've had it rough? I've spent years dealing with her tantrums, acting high and mighty, like the world owes her something. And I still had to butter her up, beg her to help my family. And don't even get me started on the romance. Not even a damn kiss after all these years. She insisted on waiting till marriage. What era does she think we're living in? She never loved me. To her, I was just a tool, a puppet groomed to complete her little fairy tale. But I couldn't leave. One wrong move, and her father would have destroyed me. Do you think I was easy? Chow Chow pouted, touching his cheek softly. You've suffered so much for me. But thank God she was so uptight. Otherwise, we might never have had a chance to be together. Right? Then her voice turned sharp. Her eyes gleamed with cruelty. So what if her dad planned ahead? Doesn't matter. His precious daughter still resents him. She doesn't remember a damn thing he did for her. I used to watch her yelling at him, hating him. I loved it. Watching them tear each other apart was better than any movie. But we can't let them stay apart forever, she added with a twisted grin. It's time to reunite father and daughter. Rui, how's the property transfer going? And her company share. A satisfied smirk formed on Zhang Rui's lips. Your mother's timing was brilliant. Letting him die on her wedding day was a masterpiece. Sent her into a mental spiral. Now that we have a certified medical report labeling her as depressed, we're in a great position. When she dies, everything rolls over to us. But if she pulls the same stunt as her dad and donates everything, we be screwed. He gently tapped her nose. Don't worry. She gave me full power of attorney. Signed the papers yesterday. Everything's transferred. We're in the clear. Come on, baby. Let me walk you to the car. I'll check on her later. The two of them left, chatting and laughing, like they hadn't just planned someone's slow death. Behind them, Kong Xiao Qiao sat frozen. The blood drained from her face. It was as if the world had stopped spinning. Was this a joke? Had the heavens really been toying with her this whole time? The man she spent her life hating, her father, had watched over her from the shadows, protected her, and even after death, left her enough to live comfortably for the rest of her life. That same man she had resented for abandoning his family, for chasing power, had quietly used his money to build schools, fund education, and better the city. A man once mocked as a traitor to his home had become a respected official, but never for himself. And he left nothing for the people who leeched off him. Meanwhile, the man who stood beside her for 10 years, who smiled and comforted her, who said he loved her, was the one who destroyed her. She had never loved Zhang Rui deeply, but she trusted him. Because of her father's betrayal, she had grown to distrust all men. Zhang Rui had been the only one to stay. For 10 years, he stayed. So she believed him. She gave him her trust. And now, That man, the man she defended, supported, and helped through everything, had tried to kill her. Because she didn't let him kiss her. Because she didn't love him enough. Because her father had power. What about everything she'd done for him? His freeloading relatives, she found jobs for them. His mother's medical bills, she paid them. His dream to pursue a PhD, she funded it with her own hands, working herself to exhaustion. She never treated him poorly. And yet, in the end, he was nothing but a snake. 10 years. 10 long years. And he'd been waiting like a venomous viper to strike. All this time, he wore the face of a gentleman, a noble teacher, someone above worldly temptations. But in reality, he was the one who delivered the fatal blow. Kong Xiaoqiao had outwitted so many people, but she'd lost everything to the one person she trusted most. Now he had a child with another woman. Now he wanted her dead, crippled her, scarred her, shattered her, and he still wasn't done. Kong Xiaoqiao's fists clenched so tight her knuckles went white. Her rage boiled over like lava. She wanted them dead, both of them. She wanted to carve them apart, inch by inch, feel their blood on her hands. These monsters didn't deserve to walk this earth. Her life? A joke. A cruel, disgusting joke. Her eyes were wide and feral, her lips twisted in fury. But she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She would make them pay. They thought they'd buried her. But they forgot. Kong Xiaoqiao never stays buried for long. Don't you all want property? Don't you all love each other? Then you can go report to the king of hell together. Have property? Then I'll make sure that you won't have a life to spend, even if you have the life to plot it, too. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. Kong Xiaoqiao turned a deaf ear to it. Not long after, the police burst through the door. Kong Xiaoqiao looked up and saw that it was already evening. Time passed really quickly. Kong Xiaoqiao had already made preparations. When the handcuffs were locked on her wrists, her heart felt more at ease. Let it be, it's good this way, too. She was pushed away by the police. From the beginning to the end, she did not say a word. She confessed everything. In this world, she could no longer find a trace of warmth. This outcome was good. It was also good, too. However, she did not expect to hear an exasperated and hysterical scolding the moment she arrived downstairs. Kong Xiaoqiao, you will die a horrible death. Give me back my daughter's life. You give me back my daughter's life, too. Immediately after, a black Mercedes-Benz came towards her. The moment Kong Xiaoqiao was sent flying, she saw a familiar yet ferocious face point too. It was Kong Xiaoqiao's mother's face. She was cursing crazily, but Kong Xiaoqiao could no longer hear it. She did not feel the pain of being sent flying. Instead, she smiled, extremely satisfied. She had originally wanted this woman to live in pain and regret. She did not expect this person to be so impatient point too. Seeing her extremely painful and twisted face, Kong Xiaoqiao smiled. She had taken revenge for killing her father and for killing her. Kong Xiaoqiao's consciousness had already begun to disperse. She only wanted to say, "Mother, I'm sorry. I did not fulfill your request. I was blinded by hatred. I have let down my father's love and protection. Too, I will go to hell. I will not reunite with you in the sky. If there is an afterlife, too." Kong Xiaoqiao muddle-headed for a long time. She did not know where, but she suddenly found herself in front of the light. After being in the dark for a long time, people were eager for light. She desperately ran to the light source point too. After a long time, she finally came into contact with the light. After that, she was in a daze. Suddenly, she heard a very loud noise. A woman said in a hoarse voice, TSK, look at him. She's quite good-looking, but she actually did such a shameless thing. It's really embarrassing. Now, she has a cut on her head and has to stay in the hospital for 2 days. Tell me, how did she, who was perfectly fine, end up with such a thing, too? Another woman pursed her lips and said, that's right. If my family had such a daughter, they would have already sunk her into the pond. She even came out to make a fool of herself. Bah, she's embarrassing our ancestor, too. At this moment, a smiling woman said, sister-in-law, looking at your words, the Kong family probably doesn't even have an ancestor. You're just an outsider. Have you forgotten? Look at your memory. Otherwise, how could you do such a dirty thing? This is simply an ungrateful ingrate, Ba-2. When the woman who was called sister-in-law heard this, she hurriedly slapped her thigh and said, sister-in-law, look at my memory. However, this family is really unscrupulous. Unit Lu saved their daughter's life, but they actually still cling to him. They really see that the boys in the wilderness are easy to bully, and the system is stricter. If I marry her, I'll really be unlucky for 8 lifetimes, too. That's right, too. In her days, Kong Xiaoqiao heard these loudspeakers talking nonstop. The noise was so loud that her head hurt. She slowly opened her eyes and vaguely saw many black and gray objects moving back and forth. After a moment, she realized that she was actually seeing people. However, she had only seen these coarse clothes when she was young. When she turned her gaze, she saw the white and yellowish walls and the few sickbeds beside them. There seemed to be people on them. This should be a hospital, but the medical conditions were too poor. Kong Xiaoqiao coughed and realized that her mouth was dry. She wanted to drink some water, so she tried her best to sit up. However, just as she got up, she fainted and fell back onto the bed. At this moment, the noise around her became softer, but soon she heard the voice of a very impatient young girl beside her ear point too. Kong Xiaoqiao in bed 5. Kong Xiaoqiao in bed 5. I'm talking to you. What are you looking at? Don't pretend to be asleep when you're awake. Hurry up and fix the thermometer. Let me know when you're done. 2. After saying that, she glared at her and mumbled, That's true. I've never seen such a pretentious person. She only had a small wound on her head, and she's still in the hospital, too. Kong Xiaoqiao was a little unable to react. Was she talking to her? What kind of attitude was this? When did the quality of the nurses in the hospital become so bad? 2. Also, didn't she die? Didn't she die from the impact? Why was she here? Could it be that she didn't die and was sent to the hospital? 2. When the female nurse saw Kong Xiaoqiao staring blankly, she urged angrily, I'm talking to you. Hurry up and take it. Are you waiting for me to serve you? 2. Just when Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't take it anymore and was about to lose her temper, she suddenly heard a magnetic male bass voice say, Give it to me. I'll measure it for her, too. As soon as this person finished speaking, immediately after, the little nurse who had been arrogant a moment ago immediately turned into a ladylike, gentle, and kind as she said, Unit Lu is here. That. There's no need to trouble Unit Lu. Let me do it. I'll do it. It's fine. This is all part of my job, too. After saying that, she even gave the so-called Unit Lu a smile that she thought was very charming. Then, she turned around and glared at Kong Xiaoqiao. Before Kong Xiaoqiao had any reaction, she put the thermometer away and left point 2. The others also came over to greet the Unit Lu that the nurse mentioned. They didn't want it to be too lively for the time, being point 2. Kong Xiaoqiao was a little confused. She looked up and was really amazed. The man in front of her was wearing a special combat uniform. It was a style that she had never seen before. She estimated that he was about 1.80 meters tall, and he was even and well-shaped. According to the preliminary appraisal, his figure was not bad point 2. Looking up, his face was clearly defined. His thick and well-shaped eyebrows were very heroic. He had a high nose bridge, and his thin lips seemed a little heartless. The thing that left the deepest impression on Kong Xiaoqiao was his pair of long and narrow phoenix eyes. His eyes were deep and unfathomable, and his gaze was sharp with a sense of calmness that seemed to be able to see through everything. Although he had greeted everyone, his expression was still very cold, polite, and distant. Just as Kong Xiaoqiao was carefully sizing him up, he unexpectedly glanced at her. Kong Xiaoqiao's little heart stopped for a moment, as if time had been frozen there. Then, she coughed a few times in embarrassment and looked away. This made her feel a little awkward. Sneaking glances at others and being caught red-handed was not a good feeling. Her face could not help but turn red and hot. This made Kong Xiaoqiao feel a little amazed. Since when was the thick skin that she had trained for so many years so fragile? Although the little handsome guy in front of her was pretty good-looking, cough, cough. All right, he was pretty good-looking, but she shouldn't be so weak, too. Louis Chen, who took a look at Kong Xiaoqiao, frowned. Why did he feel that something was wrong? He was a little surprised to see Kong Xiao making a scene. She was so quiet and well-behaved. Point two. However, after greeting everyone, he walked up to them and sat on a stool. He took out a lunchbox and said coldly, "You're awake. I brought you breakfast. Eat it while it's hot, too." Kong Xiao couldn't help but look at Louis Chen in surprise. What did this person mean? Was he familiar with her? He even brought breakfast for his sister? Could it be that he was trying to seduce his sister? Ha! In this era, even the special occupation was so open, too. However, I always feel that something is not right. I'm afraid that now I have nothing and a death sentence, or else I wouldn't be able to live in such a dilapidated hospital. Someone actually accosted me. It's really, too. But what kind of person was Kong Xiao? After so many years developing a proud character, she would naturally will not have flattered feeling. Want to hit on her? There were many people, but this soldier in front of the young woman was a bit interesting. Point too. Since someone was willing to show goodwill, then she would give a chance. So extremely naturally, she said, "I am thirsty. Help me to pour a glass of water, too." As soon as Kong Xiao's words fell, Louis Chen was stunned. This tone didn't thank him, but instead instructed him. However, he still frowned and went to get water, too. Kong Xiao, who had finished speaking, was stunned. Who was that tender and clear voice? Then, she instinctively reached out her hand to cover her mouth. In the next moment, she was dumbfounded. Whose hand was this slender, dark-skinned, and somewhat rough? Too. Kong Xiao was very sure. How could a person like her, whose fingers didn't touch the sun, have such a hand? Moreover, no matter how she looked at it, it was the hand of a teenage girl. She was already 28 years old. Even if the environment changed and her hand became dark and rough, it would not become smaller. Point two. At this moment, Louis Chen returned. However, the cup in his hand was so big. The white teapot still had the words "Serve the people" printed on it. Point two. Kong Xiao was completely stunned. She did not go to receive the cup. Instead, her expression was solemn as she tried to get up. Louis Chen did not know what was wrong with this person. She was still fine just a moment ago, but now he did not know what kind of tricks she was up to. Point two. Louis Chen could not help but sink her face. He placed the cup on the side of the table and frowned as he said, "Kong Xiao, stop fooling around. Tell me what you want to do. I have already taken care of your second brother's matter for you. Can you stop, too?" Kong Xiao lifted her head and looked at Louis Chen. Second brother? Since when did she have a second brother? Since when did she make a scene? Too. From her tone, it sounded like she was a demon. Then, Kong Xiao thought that something was wrong. Why did everything here reveal something strange? She had seen this big teapot serve the people, but she had seen it on the internet. Point two. What era was that? She turned around and looked at the people around her. They were all staring at the two of them. Some of them were even whispering to each other. These were not important. What was important was their clothes. When she looked at the breakfast box that Louis Chen was holding, how many years had it been since she had seen such an aluminum lunchbox, too? Louis Chen looked at Kong Xiao, who was looking here and there with a serious expression. He was a little confused. Just as he was about to say something, he saw Kong Xiao instantly pull the blanket away. When she saw that she was wearing clothes of the same color as everyone else, she was stunned. However, her bold action shocked Louis Chen. He quickly covered her with the blanket and then pressed her onto the bed without any tenderness. With an angry but restrained expression, he said in a low voice, "Can you please stop? Can you be more reserved? Can you behave yourself? You're simply shameless. It's fine if you're at home, but why are you so shameless outside, too?" Kong Xiao was a little dazed from being scolded. She looked at Louis Chen's red and angry face and listened to him gritting his teeth as he questioned her. She was very puzzled. She just wanted to see if this was her body before she had any reaction. The other party actually scolded her. Point too. Why was she not reserved? Why did she have no sense of propriety, no sense of shame, and no sense of shame? 2. What did he mean by what he said just now? What did he mean by "it's fine if we're at home"? Was she very close to him? 2. She didn't know if it was because Louis Chen's actions were too sudden and shook her head, or if she was thinking too much and was a little confused. At this moment, Her head began to feel dizzy again. After another round of dizziness, Kong Xiaoqiao magnificently fainted. Meanwhile, Louis Chen was so angry that he wanted to smash his cup. He had even said something wrong about her. What was wrong with her? If she could faint with just a few curses, then why didn't she have this realization before? 2. However, when he thought of Kong Xiaoqiao's surprised expression when she was scolded and that pair of puzzled eyes, he couldn't help but frown. However, now wasn't the time to think too much. He had to hurry and find a doctor to take a look. Because of Louis Chen's quick actions, the people around didn't know what had happened. They only knew that this person had inexplicably fainted. Soon, the ward was in chaos again. Kong Xiaoqiao had a splitting headache. A large amount of memories rampaged through her mind. She did not know how long it took before she slowly calmed down. This memory belonged to Kong Xiaoqiao. It was the same as Kong Xiaoqiao's name, but the last word was different. Kong Xiaoqiao's parents were very in love back then. They were both literati. At the same time, they also liked Su Jima's farewell to Kong Xiaoqiao. It also happened that her father's surname was Kong, and her mother's surname was Qiao. Thus, her name Kong Xiaoqiao came from this point too. Kong Xiaoqiao, who grew up in a country called China in the middle and late 1970s, was different. Her name came from the fact that her mother had a severe stomachache when she passed by a small bridge. It didn't take long for her to give birth to her. Her father's surname was Kong, so she named her Kong Xiaoqiao Point 2. She also had an older sister called Kong Daqiao because she was born in a hospital in Daqiao. After flipping through the little girl's memories, Kong Xiaoqiao. No, she might be called Kong Xiaoqiao in the future. She somewhat understood the meaning of the words that these people said at that time. This little girl called Kong Xiaoqiao was not old, but her rebellious personality was really unique. She had never seen such an annoying brat in her entire life. According to Kong Xiaoqiao's point of view, this girl's personality was a little crooked. Logically speaking, this was an era where productivity was very backward. Moreover, in the countryside, every family's children did not have enough to eat or wear, and they still had to work. As for her, because she was small and weak, and she was good-looking, she was very favored by her parents. She never did these heavy tasks. Of course, this preference was mixed with some selfishness, but because of this little selfishness, this little girl's heart was filled with hatred. Ever since she found out the truth, from time to time, this girl's personality became more and more unlikable. Not only was she competitive, she was also vain and liked to bully others. Point 2. Her companions who grew up with her had all been bullied by her. However, she was smarter than these children. She could speak eloquently, and they could not beat her in words. Fight? Hee. She had 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. Once the protective sister mode was activated, whoever came would be defeated. Point 2. Because of this, she was extremely unpopular. All the children in the village either ignored her or were her enemies. However, she was crafty and lazy. Point 2. Moreover, the name of the second daughter of the Kong family was known to everyone within a radius of more than 10 miles. She was already 17 years old, and there was not a single person who came to propose marriage to her. This place was filled with simple farming families. When they married their daughter-in-law, they would definitely have to go to the fields to farm and earn a centimeter. At the very least, they would have to have good children and carry on the family line. With the lazy and slippery appearance of the second daughter of the Kong family and her small body, what could she do? It was said that this daughter had never even set foot on the land at home. Point 2. Which person from a decent marry would marry her? The entire village looked down on her. When this child was young, she still had a small round face, but after she grew up, the shape of her face also changed and there was a sharp down. In fact, Kong Xiaoqiao was not ugly. Her oval face was a little sharp down, and her features were delicate and pretty, especially her pair of big eyes. They were watery, and her long eyelashes were like a small fan. She was especially beautiful. What do they do? People nowadays had different aesthetic standards. They all liked that kind of round face. They said that it was a blessing. However, this girl was still young and defiant. The girl from their group of party secretaries called Zhang Shumi to make things difficult for her. When they met, she would say that she was an old lady and no one wanted her. She would always ridicule her point too. She even formed a gang to ridicule her. This made Kong Xiaoqiao very angry. However, she really did not have anyone to propose to her. However, that round and fat Zhang Shumi actually had so many people to propose to her. Even Wang Qia and Lu Er had people to propose to her. But who was she, Kong Xiaoqiao? Not only was she arrogant, but she also loved vanity. She did not have any interest in those poor young men who only knew how to farm point two. If she wanted to find the best, she would find the best. Therefore, she secretly observed for a long time and found that Zhang Shumi liked a person from a nearby wilderness organization. His name was Lu Yichen, and it was said that he was a team leader point two. Kong Xiaoqiao did not know what this wilderness organization was, but from her memory, she knew that this organization was very big and very respected. She heard that the treatment was very good. In her memory, it seemed that China had built such a wilderness plan for the sake of the children of China to learn skills and abilities point two. It was said that if they did well, they would be assigned jobs in the future. So many people took pride in entering the wilderness point two. Kong Xiaoqiao, who had just arrived, could not understand what kind of policy this was. However, she could tell from Lu Yichen's body that the effect was not bad. His figure is not bad point two. Cough, cough, we've gone too far. Let's get back to the main topic. After the original owner, Kong Xiaoqiao, knew about it, her mind became lively. Therefore, although it was a warm spring in the northeast, and the river water had also been opened up, there were also floating ice on it. In the past, there were people who fell into it, and it was bone-chilling. However, what was unexpected was that this girl actually jumped into the river without caring about her own safety. No one else had the courage to do so. Coincidentally, she was saved by Lu Yichen, who was training nearby. From then on, Lu Yichen lived a life of suffering, too. When Kong Xiaoqiao saw this, she began to sympathize with this Lu Yichen. TSK, being targeted by this girl, he could only admit that he was unlucky point two. However, looking at the situation now, she seemed to have become this girl called Kong Xiaoqiao. This was not a good thing. Previously, she was lost in her thoughts. Although she did not hear it clearly, the tone of contempt, disdain, and contempt was still vivid in her mind. This reputation could not be any worse. The entire 10 miles 8 village probably knew about this matter, not to mention the various evil deeds that this girl had done after she married. Kong Xiaoqiao could be considered to have a complete headache. This person was almost as good as a mouse crossing the street, and everyone was shouting for her to be beaten. How could she still have a life like this, too? But didn't she die? Wasn't she supposed to go to hell? Why did she come here, too? Could it be that being born into someone like this was her punishment? That's right. In her previous life, she had let down her parents' love for her, and she had also plotted to kill someone. Although that person deserved to be killed, it still implicated so many innocent people who were injured and killed. No less than 18 levels of hell was already considered leniency. She deserved to live a life where everyone was screaming for her to be beaten up point two. Fortunately, God was still kind to her. Although the conditions were a little harsh, the man she married was not bad. At the very least, his looks were much better than Zhang Rui's. She did not know what his character was like. Thinking of Lu Yichen's appearance, Kong Xiaoqiao could not help but smile. Lu Yichen, who had been standing by her side, looked at her and could not help but feel a little gloomy. Why was this person acting so strangely after she had injured her head, too? He could only admit that he was unlucky to have met such a person. So what if he was unwilling? He could not take off his special clothes just because he did not want to marry her. Thinking of this, Lu Yichen's entire body emitted an aura that no one was allowed to enter. His anger even wanted to destroy all of this point too. However, no matter what, he still had to be patient and take care of this person in front of him. When he thought of the days he would have to live after she recovered, his expression became even gloomier. At noon, Kong Xiaoqiao was woken up by the dazzling sunlight. The ward was no longer as noisy as before, but it was much quieter point too. Kong Xiaoqiao slowly sat up and found that other than feeling a little weak, her head didn't feel dizzy, and there seemed to be a few fewer people in the ward. Next to her bed, the little girl who was about her age saw that she had woken up and said happily, you're awake. You can really sleep. You slept when I came. It's almost noon now. You've slept for 4 to 5 hours, too. Kong Xiao looked at the little girl. She had a small round face, big eyes, and was very spirited. She looked a little naive and childish. She could not help but blink her eyes and said, I've slept for so long, too. When the little girl heard that, she nodded fiercely and said, Of course. Aya, did you hurt your head? But I saw the nurse apply medicine on you. The wound isn't big, right, too? Aya, what's your name? My name is Chui Hui Wei. I accidentally sprained my ankle this morning. I put on a cast. From now on, I can't go out to play for a month. Aya, I think we're about the same age. Do you still go to school? I'm going to take the college entrance exam next year, too. Oh, right. Who's that brother Yuan Shang who's sitting beside you and accompanying you? Is he your brother? Too. After saying so much in one breath, her eyes were filled with curiosity as she looked at Kong Xiao. On the other hand, Kong Xiao, who had been asked a lot of questions, frowned. Why did this child have so many questions, too? However, perhaps she had stayed in the dark for too long, so Kong Xiao was also bored. Seeing that this little girl was not bad, she smiled and slowly got out of bed. As she put on her shoes, she teased her and said casually, Him, you guess, too. The little girl's curiosity was piqued. However, Kong Xiao was not willing to tell her halfway, so she shook Kong Xiao point two. Kong Xiao was shaken by her, and her head felt dizzy again. She hurriedly said, Stop shaking. I'm dizzy too. Chui Hui's big eyes were full of curiosity as she said, Then tell me, who is he, too? Cough, too. She really wanted to cry, but she had no choice. The website requested that she had to change it. Then, she had to explain this wilderness project, too. Well, that's how authors said it, too. This wilderness plan was equivalent to an organization that worked for the welfare of the people, selecting a group of very outstanding young people from all aspects to be recruited. The state paid for it, and after continuous training, this period might be very hard and even life-threatening, but the rewards were also very big. There was a salary, and after learning a skill, one could return to their hometown and be assigned a job, and was very popular with the people. Those who performed particularly well would stay, get a promotion and a raise, and of course, they would also have more rights. Dear friends, fill your own brain few. Kong Xiao took a look. Why was this child so active? Could it be that she had her eyes on that Louis Chen? Thus, she rolled her eyes and said, He is my brother Wilderness, too. After saying that, she even winked at her playfully. Chui Hui opened her mouth wide in surprise when she heard that and said, No way. You too. You are so brave. After saying that, she looked at Kong Xiao with admiration, thinking that she was really amazing to actually dare to fall in love in private point two. However, as soon as she finished saying that, she heard a very serious woman say, Hui, what are you doing? Why are you lying on the bed and talking to strangers, too? Hurry up and lie on the bed. You child, you don't even know what kind of character the other party has, yet you go and talk to others. What if you're taught a bad lesson? Are you stupid? Too. As soon as this woman finished speaking, Chui Hui's face turned red, and she said awkwardly, Aunt, don't talk nonsense. I too. Before she could finish speaking, she was glared at by that woman. At this moment, the young nurse who took Kong Xiao's temperature in the morning, she walked in from behind with a look of disdain and said, Kong Xiao, bed 5, did I tell you to get off the ground? Quickly lie back and take her temperature, too. After saying that, she immediately smiled and said to the woman who had spoken seriously just now, Director Zhang, I'll take Hui's temperature, too. Then, she said to Chui Hui, your aunt is right. There are all kinds of women out there. There are many who are shameless and have no sense of shame. It's better to pay less attention to them, too. Chui Hui's face was flushed red from being said. She said angrily, I don't need you to care about me. Just do your job, and it will be over, too. After saying that, she rolled her eyes and carefully glanced at Kong Xiao. At this moment, there was no trace of a smile on Kong Xiao's face. She looked at them indifferently with a trace of a cold smile on the corner of her mouth. Huh. Did she really think that she was a piece of paper? Did she think that she didn't exist? Although she knew that these people were scolding the previous Kong Xiaoqiao, the person standing in front of them was a living person. How was this different from scolding her? However, the moment Kong Xiaoqiao moved, her body became extremely weak. She quickly held onto the bed, and her eyes became even darker. She didn't even wait for the nurse to be scolded until her face turned red. Kong Xiaoqiao interrupted her and said, "A dog is meddling in other people's business. You don't know what you are doing, and you still need someone to remind you. If you're sick, go see a doctor. Don't shout here. I really don't know who is shameless. You still need someone to say it, too." Kong Xiaoqiao had just finished speaking when she was out of breath. Her entire body seemed to be falling apart. Her body had not eaten for 2 days, so was indeed very weak. However, she had always been a powerful person since she was young. How many years had it been since these people dared to talk about her like that? She had met people like the young nurse and Director Zhang when she was young. At that time, people also used this kind of face to talk about her mother. They looked down on her mother and said that her mother's good looks were useless and that she was so stupid. They couldn't even keep their own men, point two. With that kind-hearted uncle coming to help their family and taking things upstairs, they would also be talked about and gossiped about by the neighbors. Her mother had always been very quiet. Ever since her father left, her mother rarely had a smile on her face. She had no choice but to become strong. Whoever dared to bully her mother, she would be the first to jump out. Also, she had never been afraid of that man who harbored evil intentions. There was one time when she used a kitchen knife to almost split that man's head open. Her fierce reputation was unparalleled. She had no choice. Her mother was too beautiful, and she was a gentle and virtuous woman who had just gotten divorced. Such a person was easier to bully. It was said that a widow had a lot of trouble in front of her. Although her mother was not a widow, she was a single mother with a daughter. She did not have a man to rely on, so naturally, there were people who were scheming against her. She had been fighting since she was young until no one dared to have bad intentions towards this mother and daughter. How could she explain the difficulties in 1 or 2 sentences? 2. If it were not for her father's betrayal, the harassment of these stinky men, and the false rumors in the outside world, why would her mother die in depression at such a young age? However, she blamed her father for so many years. Only when he died did she realize how much he had no choice. Thinking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao slowly sighed in her heart. The world was unpredictable, and the saddest thing was that she as a daughter wanted to be filial, but her parents were gone. 2. However, now that she was alive, she naturally had to live well. In her previous life, no one could bully her even when she was so young, let alone today. The 2 people in front of her were really asking for trouble, point 2. Kong Xiaoqiao naturally didn't let it go. In her dictionary, anyone who dared to bully her had to be prepared to be dealt with. As soon as Kong Xiaoqiao finished speaking, the entire ward fell silent for a moment. The woman who was called Director Zhang also frowned, point 2. The nurse who was scolded was so angry that her face turned red. She turned her head and glared at Kong Xiao. "Who are you calling sick and shameless?" "Say it again." "Pooey, who doesn't know about your trivial matters? I've never seen anyone so shameless since I was young. You don't care about your skin, and you even put the blame on her. Pooey too. Who doesn't know what kind of person your second daughter of the Kong family is? If you can't get married, then you'll throw dirty water on your savior. Your parents are even more shameless. Not only did they have the face to keep the other person's watch, but they actually asked for a betrothal gift from the other person, point 2. No matter what, their bodies have been touched. If you don't marry Unit Lu, then who will you marry? Hey, with that 2 pieces of meat on your body, who cares? You even asked for a betrothal gift of 300 yuan. Why didn't your family rob them? You're really poor, point 2. Only Unit Lu is a good person. The wilderness has strict discipline, so he had no choice but to marry an unlucky person like you. You're really shameless. You still dare to make sarcastic remarks here. If I were you, I would have jumped into the river and committed suicide long ago. You still have the face to live. Hey, stop being an eyesore here. 2. After saying this, The young nurse seemed to be particularly excited. Her chest rose and fell as she glared fiercely at Kong Xiaoqiao. She originally wanted to see Kong Xiaoqiao being scolded until she cried. She had to be so angry that she was shaking. At the very least, she should have tears in her eyes and sobs point too. Unexpectedly, Kong Xiaoqiao slowly tidied up her clothes. Then, she leaned her arm on the table next to the hospital bed. With her right hand supporting her face, she said slowly, "Why are you so excited? If I can't get married, I can't get married. Who I marry has nothing to do with you. You have to care about how much betrothal gifts my family wants. If you're not a dog that meddles in other people's business, then what is, too? Otherwise, why would I say that you are sick? You were probably bitten by a dog when you were young. If you think that my family wants a lot of dowry to fight for the injustice of others, aren't you not married yet? When you get married, don't ask for the dowry or pay the dowry. Who cares about you?" When the other party heard this, she was so angry that her whole body was trembling. This person was simply shameless. She had never seen such a thick-skinned person. She was pointed at and scolded, yet she still acted as if nothing had happened. Point two. On the other hand, she was still talking about her. The young nurse was so angry that her face turned red and her neck was thick. Point two. The hand that was pointing at Kong Xiaoqiao was trembling so much that she could not take it anymore. After much effort, she roared angrily. "Who did you say has rabies? Who is meddling in other people's business? Two. You are the one who is sick. You are simply shameless. When faced with injustice, anyone can raise their arms and fight for justice. You're a person who is despised by others and is like a rat that crosses the street wherever you go. What right do you have to talk to me here? What am I saying wrong? Which family wants a betrothal gift like yours? If it's all like that, would the gay men still want to marry, too?" Kong Xiaoqiao was not scared by the other party's roar and imposing manner. She still sat there steadily. She said with an indifferent expression, "You still want to uphold justice? By the way, how much betrothal gifts my family wants, what does it have to do with other people's families? Since you're so considerate of the masses, why don't you just give up the betrothal gifts? Just like what I said earlier, you can pay for it." Too. After Kong Xiaoqiao finished speaking, she saw that the other party was so angry that her face was red and her neck was thick as she continued to say, "I think you're saying that grapes are sour because you can't eat them. My family wants a lot, so it's nothing much. Who asked my man to be willing to pay? You just want to pay for it, but my man still won't do it. Point two. You're not young this year, right? It's time to talk about marriage. It's okay to start thinking about men now. A woman is yearning for love, but you can't think about a married man. This is the real shame. You have no morals, no virtue, and you're shameless. Moreover, this is a special marriage. A special marriage. Do you understand? Two. Destroying the special marriage will lead to jail. You'd better be more careful. When you have the time, take a good look at the people around you. Don't be blind. No matter what kind of person it is, you'll make do with it. Looking at how human you are, I don't know how evil you are. Two. As soon as Kong Xiaoqiao said this, only the nurse in the ward was so angry that her eyes turned red. With tears in her eyes, she started to criticize Kong Xiaoqiao. She had really been driven mad by Kong Xiaoqiao. She had never seen such a person before. In the past, she had never lost a fight. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had the previous scene. However, at this moment, she was actually labeled as such a big person. Although she had some small thoughts, she was also jealous of Kong Xiaoqiao's good qualities. Point two. Who wouldn't be angry if this matter was placed on them? Unit Liu was a famous diamond bachelor here. Not to mention their own conditions. How many people were better looking than him and more capable than him? Moreover, his family background was so good. Point two. However, such a Prince Charming was actually corrupted by Kong Xiaoqiao. In the end, she was shameless and used despicable means to marry him. How could these girls, who were 100 times better than her, be willing to accept this, too? However, thinking about it, she couldn't say it. If this was spread, how could she be a person? Therefore, she pointed at Kong Xiaoqiao and cursed through gritted teeth. "Who do you think is missing? The rest of the words could not be uttered by a young lady like her. Meanwhile, Cui Huihui was dumbfounded. She had never seen anyone who could quarrel like this. More importantly, Kong Xiaoqiao's last sentence was so obvious. She could not help but swallow her saliva. She looked at Kong Xiaoqiao and then at her aunt. At this moment, the woman called Director Zhang's face was as dark as water. She was about to explode. However, at this moment, a very gentle and pleasant voice suddenly came. Lu Feng, what are you doing? Have you taken the temperature, too? Lu Feng, who was the young nurse, heard this, and her tears fell. At this moment, it was as if she had found her own sister. She cried and said, Sister Ying, she framed me, she too. The female doctor called Ying did not look old, but she was quite good-looking. Her skin was fair and clean. She combed her short hair and was very neat. She wore a white coat, a stethoscope around her neck, and a pair of black leather shoes. This outfit was more than a grade higher than Kong Xiaoqiao's current outfit. Moreover, her parents were fair and beautiful. Kong Xiaoqiao did not need to look in the mirror to know that her face was definitely not fair and tender. She only needed to look at the girl's hands to know. Fortunately, her foundation was good and should be able to support her point too. This girl called Ying did not say much. Her eyes looked gentle yet cold. However, she looked very amiable. Upon hearing her words, she said gently, All right, it's just a little quarrel. Hurry up and go to Ward 7 to take a look. 2. She did not say who was right and who was wrong. After that, she walked towards Kong Xiaoqiao with a smile. As she walked, she said, You're awake. Lie down first. I'll check on you in a while. 2. Then, she turned to the livid-looking Director Zhang and said, Is Wee all right? Is there anything wrong? 2. Since she didn't want to hit the smiling person, Director Zhang couldn't keep a cold face. However, her smile was also very unnatural as she asked Shui Hui, Is there anything wrong? 2. Upon hearing that, Shui Hui hurriedly shook her head and said, Dr. Zhao, I'm actually fine. It's just that this thing is a hindrance. 2. The doctor's surname Zhao, whose name was Ying, said gently, You'll get used to it after 2 days. Your ligament is injured and it's quite serious. After you put it on, you can prevent the injury from happening again. 2. The moment the doctor, whose name was Zhao Ying, entered the room, everything was resolved as if it had never happened. Kong Xiaoqiao did not say a word and just watched quietly, because behind the female doctor, Zhao Ying, was Lu Yichen, whose face had always been dark. Kong Xiaoqiao did not know how long the two of them had stayed at the door and how much they had heard. However, judging from Zhao Ying's behavior, she must have heard everything. Kong Xiaoqiao was not afraid of anything. She wanted to see what this person would do. And after the doctor, Zhao Ying, had seen Shui Hui, she was not afraid at all. Lu Yichen, who was standing at the side, actually stepped forward and greeted her, Hello, sister-in-law Zhang. 2. Kong Xiaoqiao could not help but frown. Lu Yichen knew this person, but she definitely had not seen this person in her memory point too. The person called Director Zhang still nodded expressionlessly. Lu Yichen turned around and said to Kong Xiaoqiao, This is sister-in-law Zhang Hua from Instructor Wang's house in our brigade. She lives in a large courtyard. If you don't know something, you can go ask her in the future. Sister-in-law Zhang is very nice and warm-hearted. He completely ignored what had just happened, as if nothing had happened. After Lu Yichen said all this to Kong Xiaoqiao, he naturally wanted her to say something. However, this woman just came in and said a bunch of things that were neither yin nor yang. To be honest, Kong Xiaoqiao did not want to pay attention to her. What kind of person was this? This Lu Yichen was really good at making things up. He lied with his eyes wide open. She didn't believe he didn't know anything about what happened just now. Humph, he was trying to smooth things over point two. Therefore, her eyes were all sizing up Lu Yichen. This person still had a calm look on his face. Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't help but twitch her lips. Different paths lead to different strategies. Some people were born with a discordant aura, so Kong Xiaoqiao didn't plan to try her luck. However, Lu Yichen had already said it, so it would be impolite and not magnanimous if she didn't say anything point two. Moreover, Kong Xiaoqiao saw that Lu Yichen was so polite to this Zhang Hua, so she had some idea. Although she hadn't come into contact with the wilderness before and didn't know what their superiors and subordinates called it, she had just arrived. It was really unlucky to have offended a person from a large courtyard before settling down. Point 2. Coincidentally, Chui Hui actually spoke happily at this time. She smiled and said, Aya, so we live in the same courtyard. Sister Kong, wait for my leg to heal. I'll go look for you to play, too. When Kong Xiaoqiao heard this, she immediately said with a smile, Okay, but I just came here not long ago, so I can't recognize all of you. However, we are really fated to meet you and sister-in-law Zhang when we just woke up, too. After Kong Xiaoqiao said this, she even smiled and glanced at Zhang Hua, as if nothing had happened just now. Couldn't you guys pretend? Don't you know how to be a bigger person? 2. No matter what, this could be considered as a warning. Zhang Hua looked at Kong Xiaoqiao's face-changing skills, and none of them were easy to deal with. Since Louis Chen had already introduced her, she had to give him face. After all, his identity wasn't ordinary, so she couldn't offend him. Therefore, she nodded lightly as a warning. Point 2. Louis Chen did not have any expression on his face. He still had a cold expression on his face. Just as he was about to speak to Kong Xiaoqiao, he did not expect that doctor called Zhao Yingying to be very good at seizing opportunities. Moreover, the position she was standing in was also very interesting. She just happened to be standing in front of Louis Chen. This place was still a little narrow, so it was not appropriate for Louis Chen to pass her. It was as if there was a soldier behind her who did not leave her side. He followed her and protected her. Kong Xiaoqiao saw everything. The female doctor called Zhao Yingying smiled very amiably and said to Kong Xiaoqiao, It seems that you have recovered well. Do you feel dizzy or nauseous? Or do you feel unwell somewhere else, too? Hearing that, Kong Xiaoqiao was stunned. She immediately touched her forehead and said, Dr. Zhao, you're really amazing. How do you know that I'm nauseous? Ever since you entered the door, I've started to feel nauseous. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it, but it's true that I've started to feel nauseous ever since I saw you. Point 2. I can't take it anymore. Ichin, hurry up and pour me some water to drink. It's too disgusting, too. Kong Xiaoqiao's complexion was already bad and her body was weak. When she touched her head and covered her mouth, she trembled so much that she looked like she was about to throw up. Louis Chen didn't think too much about it. Kong Xiaoqiao's fainting wasn't an act. She hadn't eaten for 2 days, and she fainted not long after she woke up. So, in Louis Chen's opinion, Kong Xiaoqiao was really sick. So, without saying a word, he walked past Zhao Yingying in front to pour Kong Xiaoqiao some water. Zhao Yingying didn't have a smile on her face at that moment. Kong Xiaoqiao was trying to cover it up. She wasn't stupid. Chui Hui didn't see anything. When she saw Kong Xiaoqiao like this, she hurriedly said with concern, I have some water here. It's warm. Hurry up and drink some, too. Zhang Hua, who was standing beside her, looked a little pale. Looking at Chui Hui's disappointing look, she couldn't tell from her tone that she was really stupid. She didn't know how her elder sister-in-law taught her. Point 2. Zhao Yingying was obviously not an ordinary person. She quickly recovered her smile. She took a step forward and blocked Louis Chen behind her, saying, The nausea may be caused by dizziness. You're also a little malnourished. Look at you, you're so thin. You don't even have 2 ounces of meat, and your injury hasn't recovered yet. Give me the water. I'll pass it to her. After saying that, she took the glass of water from the concerned Chui Hui and handed it to Kong Xiaoqiao, saying, Now, they're getting more and more serious. You still need to have a good checkup and get some glucose or something, too. Although this person's words were gentle, Kong Xiaoqiao was not stupid. She stayed behind to get an injection. Hell, what injection? If the doctor wanted to make a person suffer, it would be too easy. Not to mention, with her character, she would not give anyone the chance to hurt her. Point 2. Moreover, what did that mean? Malnutrition was real. The family was generally poor now. As a girl, even if she was favored, the rations had to be left for the men to eat. Otherwise, how would they have the strength to earn a job? 2. However, when it came to the fact that she did not have 2 ounces of meat, she even unintentionally puffed out her chest. That was interesting. What was with the joke about her small chest? However, this indeed touched Kong Xiaoqiao's sore spot. Her body was indeed a little too dry. Back then, her chest was also full of boobs. This Zhao Yingying could not compare at all. However, a wise man would not mention her past bravery. She indeed did not have the strength to fight now. However, this also made Kong Xiaoqiao very unhappy. Oomph. This person was not a good person. Point two. Seeing the other party hand over the cup with a smile, as if she was very sure that she would listen to her words, Kong Xiaoqiao could clearly see the trace of coldness in her eyes. This person looked like a human, but in fact she was holding something bad in her heart. Kong Xiaoqiao acted as if she did not understand and only cared about her water. At this time, she even felt disgusted. Then, she rushed toward the cup, but she could not hold it firmly. The water in the cup spilled all over Zhao Yingying. Point two. Fortunately, the water was really warm. Otherwise, she would be in trouble. Kong Xiaoqiao wasn't someone who could be taken advantage of. After she was done, she immediately said in disgust, I'm sorry, Dr. Zhao. I'm really sorry. I really didn't mean it. I'm really sorry too. Then, she looked apologetically at Zhao Yingying, who was covered in water on her chest. At this moment, her face was very interesting. If she wanted to get angry, she had to suppress it. She had to pay attention to her image. However, she was only in her early 20s after all. Her personality could not be concealed so perfectly. Therefore, her face was very ugly at this moment. She tried hard not to lose her temper. At this moment, Louis Chen also noticed the situation. He could not help but frown and twitch the corner of his mouth. His face turned even darker. Point two. This wretched girl did not stop until she caused trouble. From the moment he walked to the door, he heard her arguing with the nurse. Not only did she scold the little girl until she cried, she even did not let sister-in-law Zhang off. She was really unwilling to admit defeat. How did a small person like her have the courage and momentum to do so? More importantly, this girl was able to keep her composure and steady her heart. Moreover, her brain reacted quickly. Point two. This quarrel was not without benefits. It was just like when they encountered a crisis in a particular situation. What was especially tested was the soldier's ability to make the most correct judgment and react the fastest. Point two. On Kong Xiaoqiao's side, she had to add a verbal ability. This was indeed a time that tested their overall quality. Kong Xiaoqiao did it very calmly. She did not suffer any losses and even defeated the enemy. Point two. Before this, he had always thought that this girl was indeed more talkative. However, she was too unreasonable and overbearing. What she said was all twisted logic and baring her fangs and brandishing her claws. This was the first time he had seen her do such a thing. She was confident. Point two. Although what she said was mostly twisted logic, it was much better than before. However, what did Dr. Zhao do to offend her? She did not even let her off. He thought that she had grown stronger after being in a coma for 2 days. However, it seemed that she had become even more arrogant than before. Point two. In the past, she would only talk about it and argue with others. Her words were harsh, but now, she had learned how to fight. Before Louis Chen could say anything, Zhao Yingying seemed to be shocked. It took her a long time to react and said, It's okay. I just spilled some water. However, I have to change my clothes first. I'll come over to check on you later. After saying that, she turned around and looked at Louis Chen with an aggrieved and enduring look. Louis Chen looked at Kong Xiaoqiao and was about to scold her with a serious expression. But who was Kong Xiaoqiao after she saw Louis Chen's dark face from the corner of her eyes? She immediately touched her head and said in an uncomfortable tone, My head is so dizzy. I'm so dizzy. Water. I want to drink water, too. Kong Xiaoqiao was not stupid. She had been able to read people's expressions since she was young. She could find a partner who was beneficial to her in the shortest amount of time through the words, actions, and tone of others. Otherwise, how could a girl like her stand on her own strength? Her ability to read people's expressions was too good. Point two. Back then, she was like a man able to bend and stretch. This person had no choice but to lower his head under the eaves. She had just come to such a poor and remote place. To be honest, even poor and remote place was praising this place. Point two. Based on Kong Xiaoqiao's memory, it was not as good as the poor and remote place in her former world. Now, Louis Chen was her biggest backer. With him, She had personal protection. Naturally, she could not offend him. Although Zhang Rui had said that she was worthless and did not look like a woman, it had to be targeted at someone. It was not that she would not show weakness and try to curry favor with him. It was just that in her world, there had not been a man who could conquer her. With her social status, it was long past time for her to curry favor with others. Zhang Rui alone did not have the right to make her lower her voice. However, she could not do it in front of them. The situation was better than others. It was not the time to show off. If there was no one, it was okay to be scolded by Lui Chen. However, there were enemies in front of her who looked down on her. If she was scolded in front of them, wouldn't she be a laughingstock? When Lui Chen heard this, he looked at this girl's performance. The words that were on the tip of his tongue were forcefully swallowed down. This girl was still sick. Forget it. I'll teach her when she's better. Sigh, I don't know how my family raised this girl. She actually developed such a temper point too. Lui Chen sighed in his heart. He felt that he had a heavy responsibility and a long way to go. After that, he had no choice but to pour her another glass of water. At this moment, Kang Xiaoqiao wasn't only thirsty. She was also very hungry. She hadn't eaten for 2 days. When she saw that Lui Chen didn't have any obstacles in front of him, she placed the lunchbox on the dining table and couldn't help but drool. When she finished drinking the water that Lui Chen handed over, she said aggrievedly, "What time is it? I'm so hungry, too." Lui Chen looked at Kang Xiaoqiao and could not accept it. Usually, the other party was not like this. She just put her hands on her waist and shouted at him that she was hungry. When she saw the lunchbox, she had already brought it over to eat. Now, seeing her pitiful appearance, he could not help but feel his heart soften and said, "I just went to the dining hall to get it. You eat some. After the inspection, we will be fine. Let's go home, too." Kang Xiaoqiao immediately nodded and stared at the lunchbox without moving. Zhang Hua looked at Kang Xiaoqiao's expression and curled her lips, looking displeased. Then, she said to Cui Hui Hui, "Hui Hui, what are you looking at? It's time to eat. Come here, too." Cui Hui Hui reluctantly went over. She felt that this new Kang Xiaoqiao was very interesting. She had been calmly quarreling with others just now, but now she was so weak. Her expression changed so quickly. Kang Xiaoqiao couldn't be bothered with Zhang Hua and the others. Lui Chen opened the lunchbox. Kang Xiaoqiao looked at the food inside and blinked a few times. Then, she looked up at Lui Chen with surprise and said, I'm a patient, too." Lui Chen frowned and said, "I know, too." Kang Xiaoqiao's expression turned ugly when she heard that. She thought to herself, "Are you sure that you're not taking advantage of this opportunity to take revenge?" However, Kang Xiaoqiao quickly regained her rationality. The other party would definitely not do such a thing. When she recalled the past in her mind, she also knew that there was nothing good to eat at this moment. Kang Xiaoqiao picked up the extremely hard steamed bun unwillingly. Fortunately, she could still drink the millet congee. It was not that she was picky about food, but she had stayed in the dark for too long. Other than the endless loneliness, she had missed the delicious food of her hometown countless times. Now that she could eat, she naturally thought of all the delicacies in the world. The steamed bun was so hard that it could kill a person. Kang Xiaoqiao could not eat it, so she only drank some porridge. After she finished eating, she saw that the food around her was all coarse cornbread, or nest hair. Even Cui Hui Hui ate the same black steamed bun as her. She was relieved. Point 2. Lui Chen looked at Kang Xiaoqiao eating like a cat and could not help but frown. After repeatedly making sure that she could not eat anymore, he cleaned up the rest. Point 2. Kang Xiaoqiao quietly looked at him and did not speak. In this world, besides her mother, no one else would eat her leftovers. At this moment, she could not help but feel a little strange. After he finished eating, Kang Xiaoqiao said, That, I feel much better. I won't get a checkup anymore. Let's go home, too." Without thinking, Lui Chen directly refused. "No, we'll leave after the inspection, too." Kang Xiaoqiao would be a fool to stay for the inspection, so she frowned and said, "I'm already fine. What's the point of the inspection? If you're not leaving, I'm leaving, too." After saying that, she was about to get off the bed. Lui Chen didn't want to go along with her, but he was also a little afraid that Kong Xiaoqiao would make a scene. This person wasn't afraid of making a big deal out of it. He didn't want to embarrass himself in the wilderness courtyard, but he didn't want to throw everyone into the hospital point too. In the end, he put away the lunchbox and compromised, saying, "All right, we'll leave after I wash the lunchbox." After saying that, he left. Kong Xiaoqiao also tried to stand on the ground and take 2 steps. She was still a little dizzy, but fortunately, she got used to it in a short while. Point 2. Chui Huihui saw that her aunt had also gone to wash the lunchboxes, so she whispered, "Sister Kong, are you really not going to do the checkup?" 2. Kong Xiaoqiao nodded and answered. Although this little girl was quite nice, she had an unlikable aunt, so her expression was indifferent. Chui Huihui naturally felt it, so she hurriedly said, "Sister Kong, it's right that you don't stay to do the checkup. Let me tell you that Zhao Yingying is not a good person. I didn't expect her to come to this poor and remote place to be an intern. You'd better be careful. I know this person. She's narrow-minded and vengeful." 2. Kong Xiaoqiao didn't expect Chui Huihui to tell her this. Although she guessed that this person was not an ordinary person from his clothes and conversation, she didn't expect that this girl who she had just met would tell her the truth. Kong Xiaoqiao could tell at a glance whether this person was trying to sow discord. Although she had such an aunt, this girl was still not bad. Before Kong Xiaoqiao could say anything, Zhang Hua came in. Chui Huihui obediently didn't say anything. Kong Xiaoqiao nodded at her as a thank you for her kindness. Not long after, Louis Chin finished washing the lunchboxes and checked out of the hospital. He came back without saying anything. He took Kong Xiaoqiao to greet Zhang Hua and left the hospital under the warm farewell of the patients. Of course, Kong Xiaoqiao wasn't the one who sent him off. She really didn't understand why such a young man with a stern face was so popular. When she went out, she thought of the distance between the hospital and her home. She said with a bad look, "You didn't drive here?" 2. Hearing that, Louis Chin's face darkened and he said, "That car belongs to the public. You can't just drive it if you want to." This time, Kong Xiaoqiao was anxious. She frowned and said, "Then how are we going to go home?" "Walk." 2. Then, she rolled her eyes and said, "My body is weak. I can't walk. Why don't you carry me?" After saying that, she looked straight at Louis Chin with her big eyes and even gave him a wink. In the end, Louis Chin's face instantly turned serious. However, Kong Xiaoqiao's sharp eyes immediately saw the tip of his red ears. She could not help but laugh in her heart. Her big eyes turned and turned. This person was not old, so why was he pretending to be mature in front of her? Look, it was just a simple sentence, but his face was already so red. He really could not take teasing. Just as Kong Xiaoqiao was feeling smug, her face turned awkward in the next moment because Louis Chin swallowed his saliva and said seriously, "Then I rode my bike here, too." Kong Xiaoqiao turned around and looked when she heard that. Her face instantly turned black. She still had some impression of this 28-year-old bicycle when she was young, but she could not see it after she grew up. Actually, this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that there was a beam in front of the car, but there was no back seat behind it. This wasn't even a standard car. She couldn't help but frown and say, where did you get this broken bike? Where am I going to sit, too?" Louis Chin looked at Kong Xiaoqiao's uncomposed appearance and was secretly delighted. He felt as if he had made a comeback. Perhaps Kong Xiaoqiao wasn't too clear about it. Although her body wasn't very fleshy, her eyes seemed to be able to seduce souls. They were especially charming. Louis Chin didn't notice it, but when she looked at him, his heart pounded. It was strange that Kong Xiaoqiao had seduced him before and wanted to take advantage of him. However, at that time, he always felt that she was willful, unreasonable, and like a child. He was not interested at all. This person had only been unconscious for 2 days. How did she change so much, too? Louis Chin did not understand. However, after hearing Kong Xiaoqiao's words, he frowned again. With a very serious expression, he said, "Comrade Kong Xiaoqiao, please watch your words. How is this called a broken bike? Don't you know the value of this bike? However, the back seat is broken. It hasn't been removed yet and hasn't been repaired. You could just make do with it. It's not far from home anyway. Don't be so spoiled, too. After saying that, he went to push the bicycle, leaving Kong Xiaoqiao standing there in a dazed point too. However, she quickly reacted. F***CK. Even if I were beaten to death, I wouldn't sit in this bike. Bah. That beam is for children to sit on. If I sit on it, what's going on, too? When she thought of how everyone looked at her strangely, she shivered. Kong Xiaoqiao ignored Louis Chen and walked away. Back in the day, there were so many people lining up and waiting for her to take a ride in a luxury car, but she wasn't even interested in taking a look at it. Now, she had come to this lousy place and failed miserably on a bicycle that couldn't even be considered a standard bike. He wanted her to ride that? Forget it. Point two. Kong Xiaoqiao would never let Louis Chen know that she was shy. She hadn't had any intimate actions with any man in her entire life. Fortunately, the feeling that Louis Chen gave Kong Xiaoqiao wasn't that he wanted to take advantage of her. He was simply stating the current situation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such an attitude. However, she had just recovered from serious illness and hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. She had only eaten a little bit of millet congee. As the sun shone, she felt her feet float after just a few steps. Point two. Just as she was about to faint, Louis Chen rushed over and carried her into his arms. With a cold face, he said, "Your body hasn't fully recovered yet. What are you trying to show off for, too?" Then, he ignored Kong Xiaoqiao's displeasure and carried her to the beam. Then, he rode his bicycle very neatly and left. Kong Xiaoqiao was completely stunned. This person was too overbearing. Did this sister agree to it? How dare he? How dare he too? All right, now Kong Xiaoqiao didn't even have the strength to argue with Louis Chen. When the sun shone, she really felt dizzy. At first, she was still angry and sat straight. But later, she didn't even have the strength to sit straight. She could only lean into Louis Chen's arms. Kong Xiaoqiao's heart was very sad. But she couldn't do anything. Anyway, she didn't have much strength anymore. She could do whatever she wanted, but she thought that since she was still like this, she might as well find a comfortable position to lean on. This person was not old, but she still felt very safe in his embrace. It was very firm. Kong Xiaoqiao felt that it was very strange. She had only leaned on her father's chest when she was young, and then on her mother's. It was very soft, and she had never leaned on anyone else's. Point two. During her most difficult times, she had never leaned on a man's shoulder. Now, due to coincidence, she actually leaned on the embrace of this person whom she had just met not long ago. It was really a trick of fate. She did not know whether it was because Louis Chen's clothes were too deceiving or because Kong Xiaoqiao's body was too weak. Her heart had also become weak, and she actually had the intention of breaking a broken pot. Anyway, her identity did not have a good reputation. So she closed her eyes for now and waited to recover her body before making a fuss. Point two. As for Louis Chen, that was completely out of her consideration. Anyway, she was not a good person in his eyes. On the other hand, when Kong Xiaoqiao leaned over, Louis Chen's face instantly turned black. His entire body was stiff, his heart was beating fast, and his face was red. The weather in May was not very hot, but he actually had a forehead full of sweat. At the same time, he was so angry that he was grinding his teeth. This damnable woman was simply hopeless. She always wanted to take advantage of him whenever she had the chance. Point two. However, even though he was so angry, there was a ripple in his heart for some unknown reason. He felt flustered as his mind kept replaying her clear black and white eyes and her pixie-like appearance. As a result, his face turned even redder and his body became even more uncomfortable. He had never been so embarrassed since he was young. Up until now, he still did not understand how he had gotten this rascal onto the bike in his confusion. Point two. What kind of person was Kong Xiaoqiao? Hadn't he already experienced it? Why did he still make such a low-level mistake? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but frown and pull her up. He wished he could throw her directly out of the bike. As he pulled her up, he said with a cold face, "Can you sit properly? Don't you have any bones? What does this look like, too?" Although Kong Xiaoqiao didn't know about the changes in Louis Chen's heart, she still noticed some physiological changes. She had never felt that a person's heartbeat could be so strong. Bang, bang, bang. Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't tell whether this heartbeat was fast or not. Point two. Because Louis Chen had been training all year round, his physical fitness was much better than others, so his heartbeat was naturally much slower. However, with such a strong heartbeat, Kong Xiaoqiao had a feeling that the other party's heartbeat was very fast, but the number of times was very similar to hers. So she was a little confused. Point two. However, after studying it for a while, she did not take it seriously. She was really too tired, but just as she found a comfortable position, she was pulled up by Louis Chen. Therefore, she said very angrily, "You are really sick. You were the one who forcefully pulled me into the bike. Now, you dislike me. What do you mean by that, too?" Then, she said with an aggrieved look, "I haven't eaten for 2 days. How can I have a strength? Why don't you have any tender feelings for women? You are too cold-blooded. How can you treat your new wife like this, too?" Kong Xiaoqiao was also angry. She hadn't despised his broken bike yet. This person was so good that he started to dislike her. It was your honor to have this sister lean on your shoulder, okay? This person was really not romantic at all. Point two. However, even if she was angry, she understood the situation. This Louis Chen was not someone to be trifled with. What if this guy abandoned her and left? Wouldn't she cry to death? When Kong Xiaoqiao said this, Louis Chen's face instantly turned black. What kind of person was this? She had not done anything yet, but she was not embarrassed to be angry first. She even felt wronged, too. Take pity on the fairer sex? She really dared to say that he had to take pity on the fairer sex? She was such an unreasonable black girl, too. Forget about all this. No matter who it was, facing a shameless woman who wanted to pull a man in a bed every day, they wouldn't be able to have any thoughts of taking pity on women. All right, the original owner had offended Louis Chen, this upright person, too harshly. In Louis Chen's eyes, Kong Xiaoqiao's action was a disguised form of taking advantage of him. And at this moment, he didn't even need to mention how regretful he was. If he had known that she would be discharged from the hospital today, or if he had known that she was so weak, he wouldn't have ridden over on such a disabled bicycle. It was strange. Although this Kong Xiaoqiao always wanted to take advantage of him, she was still a very strong person. Even when she was rescued by him and fell sick from the frozen river, she had never been this weak. After being together for so long, this was the first time he had seen her beat up a scoundrel. With her logic, if she was not a scoundrel, then what was? Now, he could put her in front and carry her back. He had already given her a lot of face. However, this smelly girl was so good that she took an inch and took a mile, too. However, in the end, her grievous complaint made Louis Chen's heart soften. No matter what, she had indeed not eaten for 2 days. She had only eaten that little thing at noon. She was like a kitten. How could she recover? No, I must let her eat more at night. But thinking of this, Louis Chen's face turned even darker. Just now, he was still depressed that this stupid girl had taken advantage of him. Why did he care about her body again in such a short time? Louis Chen felt that Kong Xiaoqiao might have really said it. He was really sick. Point two. After Kong Xiaoqiao finished speaking, Louis Chen did not speak for a long time. She could not help but blink her eyes. It seemed that this person was quite easy to talk to. As long as he did not argue with her, it was okay to be tactful. Point two. Thinking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't help but purse her lips and smile. Men were really strange creatures. You can't treat them well or be too fierce. TSK. However, since the other party didn't speak, it meant that he had tacitly agreed. Therefore, without saying anything, she leaned over again. Point two. It wasn't that Kong Xiaoqiao wanted to take advantage of him, but Kong Xiaoqiao felt too tired. The words just now had used up a lot of her strength. She needed to rest well and take a break. Perhaps it was because she was new and Kong Xiaoqiao hadn't adapted to her current identity. She had always been a narcissistic person. Of course, she also had the cost of narcissism. Not to mention her beautiful looks, even her curvy figure was enough to make many men drool over her. The Kong Xiaoqiao of the past was truly like 1,000 flowers in the bush. Not even a single leaf touched her body. Her flirtatious, cold, and gorgeous body was very well interpreted. Many business elites and capable people in the industry wanted to worship her, but she couldn't even be bothered to give them a disdainful look. She was just so arrogant. Of course, she didn't understand at that time. She thought that she could look down on all the heroes because of her talent and hard work. However, after living in the dark for so long, Kong Xiaoqiao understood. What talent and hard work? Bullsh asterisk T. The reason why she could be so unbridled was because she had a good father and an amazing father. All the people who had designs on her were badly beaten up by him. Point two. Therefore, she could do whatever she wanted. She could disregard any man and do whatever she wanted. However, things were different now. She was now a down-and-out phoenix that was worse than a chicken. She didn't have the capital to do so. However, it was difficult for her to change this fact. However, to be able to bend and stretch was already very good. It was not a small improvement. Therefore, she felt that being able to rely on Lu Yichen's embrace was giving him face. She did not say anything. What reason did he have to dislike her? Therefore, she felt that she was really wronged. However, she never expected that when Kong Xiaoqiao leaned over again, Lu Yichen's patience was almost at its limit. Point two. However, before he could act up, he had already met an acquaintance on the road. A man who was also wearing the wilderness wolf suit walked up to him. At this moment, he was smiling and greeting Lu Yichen from afar. "Xiao Lu, have you gone to pick up your wife?" His comrade Xiaoqiao feeling better too. When Lu Yichen heard this, he looked at the smiling person in front of him. His face was almost cracked. When he got closer, he stopped and gave a wilderness wolf salute. He said in a deep voice, "Hello, Instructor Wang. She's fine now. She just needs to go home and rest. Thank you for your concern." 2. Instructor Wang, who was smiling in front of him, waved his hand and said, "It's good that she's fine. It's good that she's fine. The young couple will live a good life in the future. As for you, be more patient with Comrade Xiaoqiao. As for the female comrades, just make way for them." 2. After saying that, he patted Lu Yichen's shoulder and said, "Look, this is so harmonious. All right, let's go back quickly. I still have to go to the hospital to see your sister-in-law and the others." After saying that, he left with a smile. Lu Yichen's face was gloomy as he continued to ride Kong Xiaoqiao forward. Kong Xiaoqiao blinked her eyes. She remembered this person. He had a smiling face, and he spoke very amiably. His surname was Wang, and his name was Wang Zishan. Everyone called him Instructor Wang. Point two. Then, Kong Xiaoqiao thought of Director Zhang Hua in the hospital. Lu Yichen had introduced her to him, so she frowned and asked, "Is this person from the same family as Director Zhang in the hospital?" 2. Lu Yichen's face was still dark. After a long time, Kong Xiaoqiao thought that this person would not pay attention to her, but she actually heard a cold voice. "Yes." Then he added, "Can you sit still? We have already entered the wilderness courtyard. It's not good to be seen by others." 2. Lu Yichen thought of Instructor Wang's shining eyes just now, and his whole person didn't feel good. Instructor Wang was a good person, but he had a problem. He liked to tease people and make jokes. Now, he had seen the way he carried Kong Xiaoqiao. Point two. It was estimated that there wouldn't be a need for tomorrow, and the other comrades in the army would know more or less. Kong Xiaoqiao also wanted to sit properly, but her body didn't live up to expectations. After seeing Lu Yichen's words, she couldn't help but curl her lips and say in a low voice, "What are you afraid of? What's wrong with that? We're already husband and wife. Why can't I use your shoulder if I don't have the strength? Just say it. What's there to be afraid of, too?" Just as Kong Xiaoqiao finished speaking, she saw several sisters-in-law looking over curiously. Some of them even ran to a courtyard and pointed at them, saying loudly, "Hey, sister-in-law Wang, look over there. Look over there. Isn't that Kong Xiaoqiao, too?" The person called sister-in-law Wang looked towards the road when she heard that. She frowned and said, "It's true. The one carrying her is Unit Lu." 2. The sister-in-law ran over and said with disdain, "Isn't that her? Oh my God, she's so shameless. She's in public in broad daylight, and she's actually leaning into the arms of a man. TSK, she's a disgrace. She's too shameless, too." The person called sister-in-law Wang was called Wang Shuohua. Her man was the instructor of the unit with Lu Yichen. His name was Feng Gang. Point two. Although she didn't like Kong Xiao Xiao's way of doing things, no matter what, the two men were in the same unit. She couldn't say what others said. So, she looked at this disdainful sister-in-law and said, Xiao Lu, how can you say that? Maybe she hasn't recovered yet. That's why Unit Lu sent her back. Don't be suspicious, too. After saying that, she turned around and went back to the house. As soon as Wang Shuahua finished speaking, a little wife who was sitting beside her in the yard picking vegetables blinked her eyes. She immediately said, Sister-in-law Wang is right. However, although what sister-in-law Lu said is not nice, it is not entirely wrong. Even if she is sick, how bad would it be if she were to hug and cuddle in public, too? After saying that, she stood up again. After looking around, she said anxiously, In a while, it's better to persuade her, too. This little wife looked to be in her early 20s. She was quite good-looking, except that her skin was a little rough and windy in spring. Although she was good-looking, her face was a little dark and she had sunburn, which delayed her entire face. Her eyes flickered for a moment and then quickly covered it up. She clenched her hands tightly. After saying that, she looked in the direction of Kong Xiao Xiao. Her expression was a little dark and unclear. Point 2. The person called Xiao Lu was actually called Lu Haiying. Her man was called Chun Aigua, who was in the same company as Lu Yichen and also a sub-captain. Point 2. After hearing her words, it was as if she had finally found a soulmate. She hurriedly continued, I told you. Such a shameless person married such a good person in Sub-Captain Lu. It's such a pity for Sub-Captain Lu. Isn't that Sister Xiaolan, too? Look at that cheap look of hers. TSK, TSK. It's as if she's never seen a man in her 800 lives. I've never seen such a shameless person in my entire life. Too. Tell me, you only married into this place after her. Why can't she learn from you? Look at you. How sensible and proper are you? You're 100 times stronger than her. This person is really a disgrace to our wilderness courtyard. 2. After saying that, she looked at Kong Xiao Xiao and the others with a look of disdain. Her words were quite vulgar. Although she was praised by Lu Haiying, this sister-in-law called Xiaolan's smile was a little forced. She didn't like talking to this person called Lu Haiying. Her voice was loud, and her words weren't pleasant to hear. More importantly, this person was extremely vulgar. She thought that she was someone who had read some books. To be with a woman like her, who was like a village woman, she felt that she had lost her status. However, she had just married over, so it wasn't good. Point 2. Her real name was Zhao Xiaolan, and just like Lu Haiying, her man was also a squad leader. They both belonged to the same squadron. However, there was still a difference between Lu Haiying and her. She had married over a long time ago, and now, where could her son run off to, too? She was even more different from Kong Xiao Xiao. Lu Yichen was a well-known figure in the entire army. He was already a squad leader in his early 20s. Regardless of whether it was his family background, bearing, or ability, he was top-notch. Moreover, he was handsome and outstanding. Point 2. But what about herself? They were both high school graduates, and she was even more likable than Kong Xiao Xiao. However, the person she married was 7 or 8 years older than her. He looked old and dull, and her age was like a flower, too. Thinking of this, Zhao Xiaolan took a deep breath. When she raised her head, she pursed her lips and smiled, her face slightly red. She said shyly and emotionally, Look at what Sister Lu said. Sister Xiao Xiao, she is a little impatient. However, she is still young and doesn't understand. As her sister-in-law, you should tell her properly. I believe she will change, too. However, it's no wonder that Sister Xiao Xiao is so anxious. They have been married for 2 to 3 months. I heard that the two of them haven't, too. At this point, her face turned red and she couldn't continue. Zhao Xiaolan was speaking up for Kong Xiao Xiao everywhere. But as long as someone listened carefully, they would be able to tell the key points. She's a shameless person. I can't teach her. TSK, TSK. Some people are just as ambitious as the heavens, and their lives are thinner than paper. Back then, they shamelessly stuck to Unit Lu and thought that their lives were good, so they married in. They usually flaunt their power, but unexpectedly, too. How old are you? TSK, TSK. I can't say that you didn't learn well before. You're deliberately trying to blame. 2. Before she could finish, Wang Shuihua happened to come out of the room. Her face immediately turned cold as she said, Lu Haiying, what are you talking about? Have some moral integrity. Go do what you need to do. Is it meaningful to stare at other people's matters and talk about them endlessly? 2. When Lu Haiying heard that, she pouted unhappily and said, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't talk about it. It's not like I'm the only one who said it. TSK2. When Zhao Shilan heard this, she immediately pretended to be a peacemaker and said, sister-in-law Lu, don't take it to heart. Sister-in-law Wang is also doing this for your own good. We live in the front and back courtyards. We're neighbors. There's even a squatter member. It's not good if people find out, too. It's better to keep it down. Look, they're coming over. Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't hear what they were saying in the courtyard. She was pouting at this moment. This Louis Qin was really too. However, Kong Xiaoqiao soon discovered something new. The wilderness courtyard was not like the later generations. It was not a building, but a row of bungalows. From the east to the west, there was a long row of houses. There were at least a dozen houses in this row. The house in Kong Xiaoqiao's memory was at the end of this road. Therefore, when Louis Qin carried her on his back on the road, everyone in the front and back courtyard could see it. Some people could just look at it, while others gathered together, chatting and laughing. No one knew what they were talking about. Kong Xiaoqiao's body was so weak that she did not have any energy. How could she have the time to mind other people's business? She just wanted to get home quickly and lie on the bed to have a good sleep point too. Meanwhile, Louis Qin's brows were already knotted and his face was red. This time, even his neck was red. What was this wretched girl saying? She was shameless, but he was also shameless point too. From the corner of his eyes, he saw the smiling faces of these sisters-in-law. He felt it was unusually glaring and was secretly regretting it. However, when he saw his home, he did not bother to waste his breath on her. He rode the bike at lightning speed point too. He thought to himself, as long as I get home, I'll be fine. I won't have to suffer anymore. I just need to throw this scourge, Kong Xiaoqiao, into my home and I'll be free. 2. Louis Qin was anxious to get home. However, he did not expect that the road was not particularly smooth. Kong Xiaoqiao felt especially bumpy as she sat on the beam. Her body could not sit properly as she wriggled back and forth. Meanwhile, Louis Qin's face became even redder until it reached the base of his neck. Kong Xiaoqiao said weakly, Hey, can you slow down? It's so bumpy. My bones are about to fall apart, too. Louis Qin's face was cold, and he didn't bother with her. Kong Xiaoqiao was so angry that she couldn't do anything. She couldn't take it anymore. She had no choice but to stretch out her left hand behind the statue. She kept feeling that something hard was pressing against her from behind. It hurt her waist. However, before she knew what had happened, Louis Qin suddenly braked, causing her to hit the statue in front of her. Fortunately, there was nothing in front of her, and she hit nothing. However, Kong Xiaoqiao felt dizzy. Due to her instinctive desire to survive, her left hand naturally wouldn't let go of the thing that was pressing against her. Then, she heard a gasp. Kong Xiaoqiao turned her head in a daze and saw Louis Qin's gloomy and terrifying face, as well as his red-faced and angry face. Kong Xiaoqiao too. This angry roar made Kong Xiaoqiao's ears hurt. She quickly covered her ears with her right hand, not afraid at all. Instead, she said unhappily, What are you shouting for? My ears aren't deaf. Why are you shouting so loudly? You scare me to death, too. Louis Qin was so angry that his face turned red. He stared at Kong Xiaoqiao. This shameless person. He gritted his teeth and roared, Let go too. Kong Xiaoqiao was shocked by Louis Qin's expression. Then, she looked up and was instantly stunned. She was also stunned. Then, with a boom, her face turned red. She was so embarrassed that she did not know what to do. She stared blankly at her left hand for a long time. Her mouth opened and closed. She wanted to spit out a mouthful of blood. This too. However, at least Kong Xiaoqiao had seen the world. Soon, she swallowed her saliva, coughed twice, and said with an embarrassed red face, that It's all a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding, too. Then looked at Louis Chin point two. And Louis Chin's face at this moment has been livid, as if he was going to eat someone. He said, still not letting go, too. Oh, let go, too. After saying that, she hurriedly withdrew her hands. Of course, Kong Xiaoqiao felt that her hands were as hot as if they were cooked on a stove. After retracting her hands, she placed them in front of her chest and waved them. With an embarrassed expression, she said, I really didn't do it on purpose. I just feel that my back is a little. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, too. Let's talk things out nicely. Let's talk things out nicely. A gentleman moves his words, but doesn't move his hands. Hey, too. Bang. While Kong Xiaoqiao was stunned, Louis Chin picked up Kong Xiaoqiao and threw her out like she was a piece of trash. That look was really too scary. Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't help but shiver when she saw it. However, before she could say anything, Louis Chin ignored her, turned around, and rode his bike away. After a long while, Kong Xiaoqiao came back to her senses. Then she swore, F asterisk too. She was thrown on the ground just like that. Just like that. It was as if he was throwing trash. This made Kong Xiaoqiao's self-esteem suffer an unprecedented blow point too. There was still surprise on her face, but then her face turned red from anger. F asterisk CK. Was it such a big deal? Didn't she just grab the wrong place, too? Damn, you're a big man, aren't you? Aren't you, too? The more Kong Xiaoqiao thought about it, the angrier she got. She didn't do it on purpose. Thinking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao's face became even redder. It couldn't be said who was at a disadvantage. Humph, this sister, since young, she hadn't to. Thinking of this, a young lady like her was too embarrassed to continue thinking about it. Her scalding hand was still burning up even now. Kong Xiaoqiao couldn't even make sense of it. When she thought about how the original owner had done a lot of stupid things in order to consummate the marriage with Louis Chin, she felt that Louis Chin probably looked down on her even more. He must have thought that she was a frivolous and unscrupulous woman point too. But thinking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao felt wronged. She really felt wronged. She really felt that there was something behind her waist. She too. Forget it. She couldn't explain it, even if she jumped into the Yellow River. From Louis Chin's attitude towards her, there was no chance at all. However, there was no chance. Although this person was pretty good looking, he was just a little green onion. He really wasn't her type point too. Kong Xiaoqiao could only comfort herself like this. However, from her current situation, her situation wasn't too good. When she thought of the devilish child from her previous life, Kong Xiaoqiao was depressed to death. Now it was useless to think too much. She had to quickly think of ways to improve her current situation. However, when she thought of Louis Chin, she had a headache. Forget it. Let's take it one step at a time. If there's a misunderstanding, then there's a misunderstanding. What's there to be afraid of? Back then, it wasn't like she had never molested a little boy. Bah, too. If you dislike me, then just wait. You actually left me on the street. It's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. Let's ride on a donkey and look at the account book. Let's wait and see. Kong Xiaoqiao had just calmed down her anger. Before she could get up, she suddenly heard a loud voice with a broken gong voice saying mockingly, Io, is this who I think it is? Isn't this Sister Kong, too? Io, what's going on? Why are you sitting on the road? Is everything okay? Too. Kong Xiaoqiao raised her head and saw a tanned woman. She was not old, but her skin was too. She had a square face and big eyes. She had two braided hair and wore gray clothes and pants. The shoes were made by herself, and now they were all over the place. She was talking to Kong Xiaoqiao with a gloating look. This person was none other than Lu Haiying. After being lectured by Wang Xiaohua, she walked out of the courtyard. She happened to see Kong Xiaoqiao being thrown out, and she almost laughed out loud. It was really a waste of time and effort to find such a good thing. How could she miss such a good thing? Therefore, she dared to come over and say what she had said earlier point two. Kong Xiaoqiao looked at her twice, but there was nothing. She slowly got up and smacked her but twice. However, Louis Chin was really ruthless. Her small body was originally thin, so when she squatted down, her but still hurt. After she got up, she said with an indifferent expression, No need to trouble yourself, Sister Lu. I'm fine. I'm tired. Just sitting on the ground and rest, too. When Lu Haiying heard that, she burst out laughing. While laughing, she said, Yo, tis TSK. You even sat down to rest for a while. I saw it from a distance. Unit Lu really doesn't know how to show mercy to a woman. He hit you so hard. The fall must have been painful. Isn't it, Sister Kong? TSK, too. When Kong Xiaoqiao heard that, her face turned even colder. The person in front of her was obviously deliberately looking for trouble. Of course, she also had a grudge with her former master. However, whether there was a grudge or not, Kong Xiaoqiao didn't care. At this moment, it was impossible to find fault with her. Ever since she was young, Kong Xiaoqiao did not want to be at a disadvantage. She knew from a young age that a good horse would be ridden by others, and a good person would be bullied by others. Therefore, when others were ruthless, she would be more ruthless than others. However, how many years had it been since she met someone who came to provoke her? Today was really not peaceful. She had just woken up, and there were quite a number of people who wanted to bully her point too. Kong Xiaoqiao coldly looked up and down at Lu Haiying. Then, she pursed her lips and ignored Lu Haiying's gloating face. She directly said with a cold face, You don't need to care about what I do. Go do what you should do, too. After saying that, she turned around and left, as if she didn't want to talk to Lu Haiying. When Lu Haiying saw Kong Xiaoqiao's cold look, she was stunned. Something was wrong. Usually, she would say a few words to this girl, wishing that she had 10 words waiting for her. She was sharp-tongued, but today she encountered such an embarrassing thing. There was no reason for her not to be angry. If it was the previous Kong Xiaoqiao, she might really be angry and even argue with Lu Haiying with a red face. However, the current Kong Xiaoqiao was not. It was an ugly thing to be thrown from the bike. Only a fool would make this matter known to everyone. Point 2. Kong Xiaoqiao wished that she could disappear immediately. At the same time, she cursed Lu Yichen in her heart. As for Lu Haiying, the person who offended her, Kong Xiaoqiao, never had a good ending. It was just that her body was too weak now and she needed a rest. She would make a fuss when she recovered. Kong Xiaoqiao's peace of mind did not exchange for Lu Haiying's letting it go. When she saw Kong Xiaoqiao turn around and walk back in such a hurry, she suddenly felt a sense of accomplishment. This person definitely cared. It must be because she was embarrassed by her. So, she became even more proud. Point 2. Then, she walked 2 steps quickly and blocked Kong Xiaoqiao's way. She smiled so much that her eyebrows couldn't be seen. Aya, TSK, look at your words. I say, Sister Kong, you can't eat hot tofu with such haste. The more you cling to men, the worse it will be. As women, we have to be more dutiful. Otherwise, we will be looked down upon by men, too. How can the daughter of such a good family cling to men in public like this? Look, she was thrown out of the bike. Tisk, I saw from afar. It hurts so much. Why did she fall like this, too? After saying that, she covered her face and laughed. When Kong Xiaoqiao, who was blocked in the road, heard that, she narrowed her eyes and stared coldly at Lu Haiying. This person really took an inch and took a mile. Then, her ears twitched and her eyes turned cold. When Lu Haiying was caught off guard, she stepped forward and gave her a big slap on the face. It was a loud slap. Lu Haiying was stunned by the slap. Then, she muttered, You hit me too. When Kong Xiaoqiao heard that, she raised her head and raised her small chin. She said angrily, Yes, I hit you. How was it? Who asked you to be so merciless, too? Who are you saying isn't the daughter of a good family? What do you mean by this? What right do you have to say that I'm not the daughter of a good family? What evidence do you have? Just say whatever you want, too. I have no enmity with you. Why do you want to harm me? What right do you have to tarnish my reputation? Are you trying to take my life while I'm sick? A woman without a good reputation. How am I supposed to live? 2. Lu Haiying, did I dig up your ancestral grave or bring your child into a dry well? Do you hate me so much? You're actually willing to tarnish my reputation? Speaking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao did not forget to wipe her tears. Then, she looked at Lu Haiying with red eyes and continued, How do you think I got married? Do you think I'm willing? If it wasn't for I-Chin saving me and still being willing to marry me, I would have died long ago. I'm a little girl. What can I do, too? I have two older brothers and a younger brother in my family, too. At this point, Kong Xiaoqiao forcefully pinched her thigh a few times. It was so painful that tears fell from her eyes. Then, she began to sob. Point two. At this moment, many people had already walked over. Naturally, they heard Kong Xiaoqiao's words. Instantly, their hearts softened a lot towards her. Kong Xiaoqiao had used despicable means to marry him. Although everyone did not have a good impression of her, it was still a short period of time. She had not done too much. Some people did not know her very well. Point two. Now that they heard Kong Xiaoqiao's words and thought about their own situation, they all shed tears of sympathy for Kong Xiaoqiao. What year was this? Although they advocated free love at this time, in the countryside, it was still necessary to arrange marriages, especially when there were several sons in the family. It was normal for them to sacrifice their daughters in exchange for money to marry their sons. Point two. Kong Xiaoqiao originally didn't want to pay attention to this Lu Haiying. Everyone lived their own lives. She had just arrived and didn't have time to understand the current situation. However, the other party refused to let her go. Kong Xiaoqiao was unhappy and rolled her eyes. Why not use this to redeem her ruined reputation, too? Kong Xiaoqiao knew how important this reputation was to a person. Moreover, she still had to stay here for a period of time. Having a good reputation would make it easier for her to do things. Otherwise, she wouldn't have to do anything if she had to bear the burden of this reputation. Kong Xiaoqiao's words had indeed touched the hearts of most of her sister-in-laws. However, as the main character who was beaten up, Lu Haiying wasn't willing. She had been with Kong Xiaoqiao for a long time. She could already tell what kind of person she was. Now, looking at her appearance, naturally, she was angry. Point two. Hence, she pointed at Kong Xiaoqiao and cursed while gnashing her teeth. Stop pretending to be pitiful. Bah, how did you get married? Do you think we don't know? Not only are you shameless, you even blackmailed Unit Lu with so many betrothal gifts. Is your heart black? I see that your whole family's heart is black. 2. Trying to trick Unit Lu. Only Unit Lu is a hothead. He fell into your trap and saved you. In the end, he saved an ingrate. Now, who would believe that you were so innocent? Lu Haiying's fierce look made her want to eat Kong Xiaoqiao. Kong Xiaoqiao was so scared that she sat on the ground. Her small face was pale, and her big eyes were as black as obsidian. There was a sense of grievance in her eyes. It made people feel pity for her. Point two. Kong Xiaoqiao was pretty good looking. Other than being a little thin, her face really added a lot of points. Under such circumstances, her thin body was an advantage. Everyone thought that she was scared, but in fact, she was tired. Lu Haiying was taller than her. She had a razor head when she spoke. How could she not be tired? But the others did not know. Point two. With such a comparison, it was obvious that Lu Haiying was bullying others. Kong Xiaoqiao did not refute. She just kept looking at people with her big injured eyes. Her eyes were still red, and her tears seemed to be unable to fall. It made people's hearts ache. Everyone looked at her. The scale in their hearts leaned more towards Kong Xiaoqiao. Point two. Kong Xiaoqiao did not want to be like this. This kind of expression was not the style of a big sister. However, she had no physical strength, no connections, and she was still bearing the blame. She was also helpless. So, now she could only pretend to be weak to win everyone's sympathy. Thinking of this, she was very depressed. She missed her previous life so much, too. Forget it, forget it. She had no choice but to lower her head under the eaves. Since she was pretending, then she should act properly. Point two. When everyone saw Kong Xiaoqiao's appearance, they indeed began to think. How much mind could a teenage girl have? Besides, how cold was the river? Who would jump there for no reason? If it wasn't for the life or death catastrophe, who wouldn't hesitate to die? 2. In the past, Kong Xiaoqiao's face was always sullen, and her personality wasn't likable. When someone said this about her, she never explained and would even have a big fight with them. Point two. Therefore, everyone listened to her and believed her. They felt that this little girl was not old and had a lot of thoughts, so she was not a good person. Nowadays, most people were more simple-minded. Now, Kong Xiao was sitting there alone. She was originally weak, and now that she had been sick for 2 days, she did not eat much. Her face was even paler, which made everyone's heart ache even more. Point two. At this point, someone could not stand it anymore and stepped forward to persuade her. Sister Lu, don't say too much. It's not easy for a little girl. 2. The other party was originally trying to persuade her, but when Lu Haiying heard this, she exploded. She turned her head and said, "What do you mean? What do you mean don't say too much? Did I say something wrong? This is something that everyone knows. Sister-in-law, I think you've been deceived by her." 2. However, when Lu Haiying said this, everyone looked at her in a different way. Obviously, the two of them believed Kong Xiao's words even more. Lu Haiying was anxious when she saw this. This smelly Kong Xiao had actually learned to pretend to be pitiful. She became even angrier, especially when she saw Kong Xiao's pitiful face. She knew how to seduce a man's soul. She wanted nothing more than to tear it apart, so she became even angrier and went forward to grab Kong Xiao. At this moment, Wang Xuehua and Zhao Xilan also arrived. Point two. Naturally, they also heard Lu Haiying's words. Who was right and who was wrong was not important. What was important was that Wang Xuehua could not watch Kong Xiao being bullied by Lu Haiying. Otherwise, her man would definitely come back and teach her a lesson. No matter what kind of person Kong Xiao was, who asked her to marry someone? She married Lu Yichen, so she blocked in front of her and said with a cold face, "Lu Haiying, what do you want to do?" 2. Lu Haiying's face was red, and one side of her face was still burning with pain. Naturally, she didn't have a good temper. She said angrily, "Sister-in-law Wang, don't protect her. Look at my face. I was hit by her. After the beating, I thought I was done pretending to be pitiful. How can there be such a good thing in the world? And you make it sound like you're innocent. I'll let people know what kind of person you are, too. Pui, do you think I don't know? You've been married to Unit Lu for so long, and you haven't even consummated your marriage. What are you so anxious about? You even grab a man regardless of the occasion. How shameless. In the end, Unit Lu threw you out of the bike, too. Everyone, tell me, which daughter of a good family would be so shameless to seduce a man in broad daylight? This is simply immoral. Such a person in our wilderness courtyard would be a disgrace to the people in our wilderness courtyard. 2. This is not a matter for her alone. If this were to be known to others, wouldn't it be said that the women of our wilderness battle wolves are all so impatient? Are they all so shameless? It had to be said that Lu Haiying's words were very good. If it was directed at Kong Xiao, no one would do anything about it. But when it came to the collective, everyone had a share. Suddenly, some people's faces turned ugly. They began to whisper among themselves. Some looked down on her, some frowned, some gloated, and some were shameless. Kong Xiao's face instantly turned cold. She didn't want anyone to know about this. Lu Haiying's big mouth really deserved to die. This was simply a humiliation for Kong Xiao for the rest of her life. Therefore, she stopped crying and looked up coldly at Lu Haiying's arrogant face. She opened her mouth and said, "Then according to what you mean, seducing men is shameless and immoral, right? 2. Since you're so pure and you're so disdainful, if you don't seduce men and you don't sleep with them, then how did your son come about? Popped out from the crack of a rock? Could it be the reincarnation of Sun Wukong? Or could it be that you drank the water of the mother stream and didn't need a man to get pregnant, too?" Hearing this, Lu Haiying blushed and said, "Bah, my son naturally crawled out from my stomach. Who's like you, seducing men in broad daylight? Shameless, too." When Kong Xiao heard this, she sneered and said, "Oh, then you mean that you didn't seduce during the day, but seduced quite a lot at night, too." Puffed. As soon as Kong Xiao said this, the people around them laughed. Although they would occasionally tell dirty jokes, it was the first time that Kong Xiao said it so righteously. Therefore, everyone thought it was very funny and interesting. Point two. Lu Haiying, who was the most involved, was not in a good mood. She stared at Kong Xiao with a red face, gritted her teeth, and scolded, You little be asterisk tsh, I'll tear your mouth apart, too. After saying that, she wanted to go up and grab Kong Xiao Qiao again. Wang Shuahua quickly went up and pulled her, saying while pulling, Aya Xiao Lu, what are you doing? How old are you? Why are you messing around with a little girl like her? Stop messing around. You'll be laughed at by her, too. At this moment, Zhao Xiuan also went forward to pull her up and said, That's right. Sister-in-law Lu, please calm down. You still don't know what kind of person she is. Why do you have to be so calculative with her? Justice is in the hearts of the people. Please calm down, too. However, as soon as she said that, Kong Xiao Qiao had already stood up and hid behind Wang Shuahua. Then, she directly said, What? Are you angry from embarrassment? What did I say wrong? Don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you. You don't even know shame. So what right do you have to say that I don't know shame? Too? Besides, it was my man who carried me back, not any other man. How can I not know shame, too? I've been sick for 2 days without eating, and I don't have any strength at all. Is it wrong to rely on my own man? It's just that I don't know shame? Then your body is fine. But if you seduce men at night, won't you become a shameless vixen that everyone will beat up, too? Besides, which eye of yours saw my man throw me on the ground? It was because I had no strength and couldn't stand properly. Ichin still had matters to attend to in his army and was in a hurry to go back. That's why I was like this, too. Sister-in-law Lu, how did I offend you? Do you hate me so much? Do you want to bear my name? If my reputation is ruined, what good will it do you, too? Even if my reputation is ruined, don't even think that Lu Yichin will even look at you. Don't forget that you have a family and you have a son. Your man and my man are comrades who fought side by side. My Lu Yichin is such an upright and strict person. He will not pay any attention to you. So, you should stop thinking about it and live well with your man. Give up on that thought, too. As soon as Kong Xiao Qiao said this, everyone on the road was stunned. They all looked at Lu Haiying. That's right. Lu Haiying's performance had always been sparing no effort to discredit Kong Xiao Qiao. The others were naturally not stupid. Usually, they had heard her talk about Kong Xiao Qiao. Point 2. These two people had no enmity. Was there need to be like this? After hearing Kong Xiao Qiao's words, a light could not help but flash in their minds. Although it was quickly extinguished because these two people were impossible. Point 2. However, it could not stop the small flame of gossip. Lu Haiying admired Lu Yichin so much. Could she really have such evil intentions, too? Meanwhile, Lu Haiying's anger gradually rose. When it reached its peak, she suddenly shouted, Be asterisk tsh. I'll let you talk nonsense. Who cares about Unit Lu? I'll let you talk nonsense. See if I won't tear your mouth apart, too. Lu Haiying's attack became even more fierce. Wang Shuahua could no longer withstand it. When the others saw the situation, they immediately came to help. No matter what, this person was very warm-hearted. Meanwhile, Kong Xiao Qiao, who was behind her, quickly found a safe corner. Seeing Lu Haiying's anger, her eyes were ice-cold. This Lu Haiying had often tarnished the original owner's reputation. Otherwise, how could Kong Xiao Qiao become like this, where everyone despised her? Although the original owner was not a good person, she had only been in the wilderness courtyard for a short time. This person had a problem. She was very cautious in an environment that she was not completely familiar with. This was comparable to Kong Xiao Qiao. Point 2. Therefore, the people she had offended were only a few families near her home. It was impossible for the entire wilderness courtyard to know who she was. Now, everyone looked down on her. It was directly related to Lu Haiying's insistence on Kong Xiao Qiao. Point 2. In the past, Kong Xiao Qiao could not care about these things. However, since she had taken over this body, she could not allow others to discredit her. Whether it was right or wrong, it did not matter. Just like history, it depended on who wrote it. In the past, the original owner did not care about her own reputation. She felt that the worse her reputation was, the safer she would be. However, Kong Xiao Qiao didn't think that she knew how important a person's reputation was. Today, she was just giving her a taste of her own medicine. Regardless of whether Lu Haiying had such thoughts or not, after hearing Kong Xiao Qiao's words, everyone would have new topics to talk about in the future. The topics on her body would be slowly drowned out. When that time came, she would do something else. It was only safe if the hands of public opinion were in her hands. As the saying goes, if a fellow Taoist dies, he will not die. However, with Lu Haiying's character, Kong Xiaoqiao felt that it was a light trick to trick her point too. As for whether Lu Haiying had such thoughts, who knew? At this moment, Lu Haiying was like a furious lion. She was unrelenting in throwing a tantrum and scolding, while Kong Xiaoqiao was steadily hiding at the back, looking frightened point too. People always like to sympathize with the weak, so the balance was on Kong Xiaoqiao's side. Naturally, she could not let Lu Haiying succeed. Kong Xiaoqiao was familiar with such things. People could not always be straightforward and inflexible. Kong Xiaoqiao had experienced it since she was young. If it weren't for her cleverness, she and her mother would have been eaten to the bone. Therefore, in Kong Xiaoqiao's heart, she didn't feel that it was shameful to show weakness. It was not shameful to pretend to be pitiful. A black cat and a white cat would be a good cat if they could catch mice. When she had the ability, she would slap her face hard and slap her face arrogantly. When she had no rules, she had to learn to endure and borrow the strength of others to defeat the enemy. Kong Xiaoqiao could bend and stretch. She was currently weak and could not fight head-on. She did not want to be beaten up by this madman. This was the only way point too. The more Lu Haiying could not succeed, the more exasperated she became. She pointed at Kong Xiaoqiao and shouted, "Kong Xiaoqiao, you be asterisk T6, you better tell me clearly. Who is thinking about Unit Lu? If you don't tell me clearly today, I will not let you go." 2. After that, she stopped hitting people. Suddenly, she sat on the ground, patted her legs with both hands, and started to cry. As she cried, she said, "Oh my God, I don't want to live anymore." She actually said such things to me. "Wu, you're all on her side." "Wu, I don't want to live anymore." 2. I was just trying to stand up for Unit Lu, but I was splashed with dirty water. "Wu, I don't want to live anymore, Wu too." When Lu Haiying cried like that, everyone was at a loss. Wang Shuohua stepped forward and patted her shoulder, trying to persuade her. "Xiao Lu, don't cry anymore. Sister Kong was just talking for a moment. Everyone knows that you don't have such thoughts. It's over too." When Zhao Xilan heard that, she also tried to persuade her. "Yes, Sister Lu, everyone knows what kind of person you are. Don't cry anymore." Sister Kong didn't do it on purpose. "Sister Kong, aren't you going to apologize to Sister Lu, too?" After saying that, she even stepped aside. At this moment, everyone's gaze returned to Kong Xiaoqiao, and Kong Xiaoqiao hid behind Wang Shuohua. Hearing this, her face turned cold. Asking her to apologize, she really dared to say it. However, Kong Xiaoqiao didn't explode in anger. Instead, she stood there stubbornly. She looked like she had been wronged and refused to yield. Her face was pale, and her slender body wished that a gust of wind could blow her away. Her messy hair couldn't hide the panic and fear under her stubborn face at this moment. Obviously, she was frightened by Lu Haiying's act of throwing a tantrum point too. Everyone could not help but frown when they saw Kong Xiaoqiao like this. Such a thin and stubborn little girl with a small body that could fall with the wind. If she had not been forced into a corner, would she have been able to bite people? Everyone could not help but sympathize with Kong Xiaoqiao. This was exactly what Kong Xiaoqiao wanted. The more everyone sympathized with her, the more believable her words would be. Then, she looked hurt. She said sadly and bitterly, "Sister-in-law Xiaolan, you actually want me to apologize to her? Why should I apologize? What's wrong with what I said? What kind of woman has nothing better to do than to stare at other people's men every day? You actually know so much about whether the marriage was consummated or not, too." Then she said loudly, "If she doesn't have the heart, why would she inquire about this matter? Also, sister-in-law Xiaolan, I've only told you about this matter. How did Lu Haiying find out about it? It's fine if other people misunderstand me, but why do you look at me like that? Back then, you taught me a lot of things, too." Before she could finish, Zhao Xiaolan's face turned pale. She went forward and grabbed Kong Xiaoqiao's hand. She immediately said nervously, "Sister Kong, how is that possible? I know who you're the best. I just didn't pay attention to what I said, and sister-in-law Lu heard it. I really didn't do it on purpose. Sister Kong, I think there's a misunderstanding between you and sister-in-law Lu. It's fine as long as the misunderstanding is resolved, too. Zhao Xiaolan was so scared that she grabbed Kong Xiaoqiao's arm. Her eyes were extremely nervous. She was afraid that Kong Xiaoqiao would say something. She was really scared. In the past, Kong Xiaoqiao was a quiet person and treated her like her own sister. She always thought that her ideas were good, but Kong Xiaoqiao didn't know what was wrong with her today. It was as if she was having a stroke point too. Thinking about the things she had taught Kong Xiaoqiao, if others knew about it, Zhao Xiaolan was so scared that her forehead was sweating. She was so nervous that she kept swallowing her saliva. She didn't dare to say anything to apologize. Point two. No one was a fool. When they heard that there was a hidden meaning in her words, they really didn't pay attention to it. It just so happened that Lu Haiying knew about it, and she even said it on purpose. It was really hard to say. Who didn't know that Lu Haiying had a big mouth? Thinking of this, everyone couldn't help but look at Zhao Xiaolan with a deep meaning. At this moment, Zhao Xiaolan felt her face burning, and she wished she could find a hole to hide in. Previously, she thought that Lu Haiying and Kong Xiaoqiao were at loggerheads, and she wanted to watch the show, but now, she almost regretted it to death. This Lu Haiying was really useless. She was such an, yet she couldn't subdue a teenage girl, causing her to lose so much face. Point two. Kong Xiaoqiao looked at Zhao Xiaolan's appearance and couldn't help but twitch her lips. She didn't continue. What was this? The good show was still yet to come. Kong Xiaoqiao's reputation was so bad because of Lu Haiying. Lu Yichen's hatred for Kong Xiaoqiao was definitely related to Zhao Xiaolan. Point two. The host was stupid. She treated her as a good sister and did not hesitate to be a stepping stone to help her good reputation. Kong Xiaoqiao would not do that. Today was just a small lesson for her. There was still a long way to go. Those who dare to target Kong Xiaoqiao would not have a good ending. However, in just a few sentences, some people had already smelled the scent of gossip. However, because of Zhao Xiaolan's good reputation, they did not say anything. However, there were also some straightforward and unscrupulous sister-in-laws who felt that what Zhao Xiaolan said made sense. They then started to praise Zhao Xiaolan. Point two. Look at how sensible Sister Xiaolan is too. That's right. You guys should learn more from Sister Xiaolan. She's modest and gentle. She's sensible and knows the big picture. What does she look like when she's causing a ruckus, too? That's right. She's already in, yet she's still sitting on the ground and crying? This is such a small matter. She must be dead or alive. She's a good-for-nothing, too. Zhao Xiaolan's face was red from the praise. She didn't dare to be embarrassed. Her shy little appearance made people think that she was the daughter of a good family. In fact, no one knew how worried she was in her heart. Meanwhile, Kong Xiaoqiao watched everything coldly from the side with a disdainful look in her eyes. She couldn't help but think to herself, hee hee, you're really pretending. I really hope you can pretend to be so good all the time. In the end, the corners of her mouth curled up. Point two. At this moment, a roar suddenly came from behind. What's the situation? What are all of you doing here, too? Why do I hear someone crying? Why are you crying? What's going on, too? While they were talking, they'd already walked forward. Everyone quickly made way for them. Kong Xiaoqiao heard the sound and looked over. She saw a muscular sister-in-law with short hair, long, thick eyebrows, and big eyes walking over with a cold face. That pair of thick eyebrows made this person look particularly heroic. Sure enough, regardless of whether it was her speech or her appearance, she was a straightforward person. When she walked over and saw Lu Haiying sitting on the ground, she frowned. Point two. She looked at her and said with a smile, "Is it comfortable to sit on the ground? Why don't you wash your clothes when they are dirty?" When Lu Haiying saw the person in front of her come over, she looked a little timid, but she didn't stand up obediently. Instead, she cried, "Sister-in-law Qin, you came at the right time. You have to make a decision for me. Sob, otherwise I won't have the face to live. Sob too." Then everyone began to talk about what happened with the sister-in-law of Qin, and the more sister-in-law Qin listened, the more she frowned. Point two. In the end, she said, come on, you still have the face to cry. How old are you? What a big deal. Are you going to die, too? Just like Sister Xiaolan said, it's just a misunderstanding. How can you be so uptight, too? Sister Kang's illness has just recovered. It's only right and proper for the old men to send her back. How can it be as evil as you say? She's not an outsider. How can she not know shame? Stealing someone is called not knowing shame, too. This young lady who just got married is very thin-skinned. How can she be so funny to you? Even if she's joking, she knows her limits, right? I think you're really getting worse with each passing day, too. After saying that, she even glared at Lu Haiying. Lu Haiying opened her mouth, but in the end, she snorted and turned her face away, not saying a word. Qinwan ignored her and turned her head to Kong Xiaoqiao. She said earnestly, "Also, Sister Xiaoqiao, it's not that sister-in-law is talking about you, but what you said just now was a little too radical. Xiao Lu is quick to say anything, but what kind of existence are the women of the wilderness werewolves? How can we engage in such nonsense, too? Since you've married in, then we're a family. We have to help each other and love each other." Although Xiao Lu doesn't care about the severity of her words, you said it in a hurry and didn't mean it. Since you're young and insensible this time, you can't say such things in the future. Then our sister-in-law dotes on our brothers of the wilderness werewolf. That's no different from doting on our own brother. You can't say such things in the future, do you hear me, too? After saying that, she looked directly at Kong Xiaoqiao. Kong Xiaoqiao pursed her lips and didn't say anything. She thought to herself, this Qinwan really has some skills. To be able to subdue Lu Haiying, she really isn't an ordinary person. And when Qinwan looked at her, Kong Xiaoqiao lowered her head and didn't say anything. She frowned and asked, "Why? Do you still have any grievances, too?" When Lu Haiying heard this, she was unwilling again. She turned her head and straightened her neck. She hurriedly said, "What grievances can she have? Sister-in-law Qin, look, she even slapped me. It still hurts now. I want her to apologize to me. Otherwise, I'll hit her back, too." Kong Xiaoqiao was still cold and stubborn as she stood at the side. She did not say yes or no, but Lu Haiying's unrelenting look made Qinwan impatient. Therefore, she said with a cold face, all right. It's not a big deal. I saw you baring your fangs and brandishing your claws at Kong Xiaoqiao from afar just now. Are you still not done? Do you want me to call your man, Chen Aigua, back and ask him to uphold justice for you, too?" As soon as Qinwan's words fell, Lu Haiying stopped. Everyone couldn't help but purse their lips and laugh. If there was anyone that Lu Haiying was most afraid of, it would be her man. As for the reason, they would find out in the future. This matter was hastily concluded under Qinwan's swift and decisive actions. The original owner wasn't too familiar with Qinwan. She only knew that she had a fiery temper and was a person of her word. Everyone was also quite afraid of her. Firstly, it was because of her personality. Secondly, it was because her man was the vice captain of this squadron. Everyone's men had to stay under him, so naturally, they had to give her face. However, Kong Xiaoqiao still had a good impression of this person. She liked people who were quick-witted. Point two. Sigh. But today's battle situation wasn't particularly ideal. If her body recovered, would she still have room for Lu Haiying to shout and complain? She would have long beaten her to the point that her mother wouldn't recognize her. However, her body was too weak, and she couldn't even stand properly. That slap was soft, and Kong Xiaoqiao was disgusted. Point two. However, this was the condition now. Even if Kong Xiaoqiao wasn't willing, she had to accept it. She also made up her mind to train her body well and bring back all the abilities of her previous life. When that time came, Lu Haiying and Zhao Shilon wouldn't be able to escape. Point two. However, there was still a long way to go. It had been many years since she had met someone who dared to cause trouble with her. Let's take it slow. Although this fight was unpleasant, it was not without its rewards. After her misdirection, it was estimated that everyone's opinion of Kong Xiaoqiao would definitely change greatly. Lu Haiying, on the other hand, would not be so lucky. Although it was all out of thin air, Lu Haiying's news was much more explosive than Kong Xiaoqiao's. Point two. What was there to say about seducing her own man? It was as if they had never done such a thing. Cough, cough. That could only be understood, but not spoken of. On the other hand, the person who was thinking about other people had a problem with her style. Naturally, it was big news. Point two. Although Kong Xiaoqiao did not want others to say that she seduced Louis Chen, her mouth was on other people's heads. Even if she explained it 1,000 times, it would be useless. Thinking of this, Kong Xiaoqiao once again settled the score with Louis Chen. This scourge was really capable of deceiving her. When had she ever seduced him? F***CK. That was a pure misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, okay? However, no one listened to Kong Xiaoqiao's explanation. Perhaps even Louis Chen did not believe her. After these days, Kong Xiaoqiao could only drag her tired body and walk back to the small courtyard in her memory. Because it was a large joint platoon, the layout of each family was similar. If there was really a large population, they would only take up 2 houses. However, this could only be done through an application. Kong Xiaoqiao's house was no different from other people's houses. It was just one end. Next door lived Wang Shuahua's family. In front and behind them was a large wilderness courtyard with a squadron. Each family had neat wooden doors. Once one entered, there was a small vegetable garden on the left. It was about 100 square meters and was separated by wooden planks. At the end of the path was a courtyard. On the left was a barn. The courtyard was clean, and there was nothing in it. Kong Xiaoqiao could not help but twitch her lips when she saw this. This courtyard was not cleaned by the original owner. It was all done by Louis Chen early in the morning. This person looked cold, but he was quite diligent. Point 2. The house was not big. It looked like 2 rooms. The door of the house was also made of wood. The word "she" was pasted on it. The window was also pasted with the word "she." It was red and looked quite festive. Point 2. When the door was opened, there was a kitchen directly in front of it. It was facing a cabinet, which was covered by a curtain. It was probably a cupboard. On top of it was a large glass window, which was polished and had the word "she" pasted on it. Next to it was a large vat of water. Point 2. There were some wooden spoons on the right side, which were neatly piled in the corner. There was some soft firewood next to it. On the left side of the door was a large pot, and above it was a large glass window. One could see the master bedroom at a glance, and next to it was the door into the master bedroom. Kong Xiaoqiao pushed open the master bedroom door and went in to take a look. The house was empty, and there was a cabinet at the end. From the looks of it, it was newly made. Point 2. After that, there was a mahogany flower box on the ground, and above it were 2 red peony flower thermos bottles and a few teacups. Looking up, there was a big mirror hanging on the wall, and the words "flowers" and "serving the people" were printed on it. Point 2. On the right side of the mahogany box, there were a few benches and a dining table. There was nothing else. Point 2. When she turned around, there was a back window that could see the back street. On the right side, there was also a small room. The door was tightly shut. Kong Xiaoqiao knew that that was where Louis Chen lived. Kong Xiaoqiao did not waste any energy and was able to remember this little bit of property. It was so shabby that they did not even have a single curtain. Point 2. This was too poor. It was simply poor. Kong Xiaoqiao had never seen such a simple home. Point 2. Was this a home? How did this look like a home at all? Kong Xiaoqiao stood in the middle of the room in a daze for a long time before she came back to her senses. She comforted herself. Forget it, forget it. It's already good enough to be alive. Why do you need a bicycle? These are all worldly possessions, too. Kong Xiaoqiao believed that with her own hard work, she would definitely be able to lead a good life. However, the most important thing for her now was to look at her own appearance. When she came back to life, she would be busy dealing with these troublesome matters. She had not even taken a good look at what she looked like. Kong Xiaoqiao was filled with excitement as she approached the large mirror step by step. This mirror was definitely big enough to reflect her entire body. In front of her was a little girl wearing gray clothes, pants, and a pair of cloth shoes. She stood there in a charming manner. This girl was thin. She had 2 braided hemp braids, and her hair was a little messy. It was dry and yellowish. Looking up, she had a small face the size of a palm, a sharp chin, and big eyes. Her black and white eyes were distinct, and they were as black as ink. She was very spirited. With her long eyelashes, she gave off a cold and lively beauty at a glance. Point 2. Her eyebrows were like a painting, and her nose was very pretty. Her small mouth was slightly pursed. To be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that her skin was a little dark and rough, giving her face a big discount, she would really be a little beauty. On the other hand, Kong Xiaoqiao's personality was changeable. In the mirror, there would occasionally be the cold and proud image of a big sister, and at other times, she would change into the image of a strange little girl next door. This image was deceiving people, and it was the best way to cheat people. Kong Xiaoqiao used her little black hand to touch her face. It was full of collagen, and she was very satisfied. Point 2. Although this face was still a little pale and weak, and even the effect of posing was much worse, Kong Xiaoqiao believed that it would not take long for her to make it shine. This face was even better than her original face. The two of them looked very similar, especially that pair of pitch-black eyes that were like dazzling stones that could capture souls. With just one look, one could be deeply immersed in it. Kong Xiaoqiao liked this type of person the most, strong and flashy. Of course, others would know that this person was not to be trifled with when they saw this face. If she was a little girl next door, she would also be a little elf. Point 2. Whether it was her predecessor or Kong Xiaoqiao herself, they were indeed not to be trifled with. Kong Xiaoqiao looked at her carefully again. The more she looked, the more satisfied she became. It was good to be alive. Although this body was still a rookie, she believed that it would not be too far for her to recover her proud figure. Although Kong Xiaoqiao did not know why the original owner had left, she touched her reflection in the mirror and muttered, "Go well. I will live well for you. Live a wonderful life, live a happy life, and live with dignity, too." Kong Xiaoqiao muttered to herself as if she was talking to someone else, but also as if she was talking to herself. This could be considered as a way of saying goodbye. Although the host was not likable and had a bad temper, Kong Xiaoqiao could feel the other party's unease, fear, timidity, and helplessness from her memories. Yes, which little girl knew that her family pampered her so much, loved her so much, and raised her well, not because of family affection, but to sell her for a good price? Would she feel at ease? Thinking of the host's parents and family, Kong Xiaoqiao's face couldn't help but turn cold. However, now was not the time to think about those things. She had to quickly recover her body. After the long journey back, Kong Xiaoqiao was already tired. Therefore, according to her memory, she took out a red lacquered flower painting basin with the word "she" at the bottom of the basin. She washed her face briefly, then found a quilt and some other things to cover her face. She lay on the Kong and fell asleep. Point 2. Kong Xiaoqiao was sleeping soundly, but the outside world was already in an uproar. Louis Qin threw Kong Xiaoqiao on the ground in a moment of desperation, then turned around and rode his bike away. Although anger was the main factor, what made him even more embarrassed was his body's reaction. Unknowingly, he had already set up a small tent, which made him very embarrassed. Although Kong Xiaoqiao's body had yet to grow up, she was still a proper young girl. Just like that, she leaned in his arms, twisting her body every now and then. He was also a normal man, okay? Moreover, he was still a hot-blooded young man. Just as he turned around, he felt something coming out of his nose. He quickly took out his handkerchief to prevent it from dripping on his clothes. He had been working in the wilderness battle wolf since he was a teenager. Those old fogies often told these jokes. Although he had not experienced human affairs yet, it did not mean that he did not understand. And when Kong Xiaoqiao grabbed him, it almost made him too. Now that he thought about it, Louis Qin's entire face turned red. After that, he did not know why, but he gritted his teeth and cursed fiercely. Then, he quickly rode his bicycle to the wilderness battle wolf. After taking a cold shower in the wilderness battle wolf for a long time, he finally recovered and let out a huge sigh of relief. He had never been so embarrassed in his entire life. It was strange. He had been married for quite some time. In the beginning, this Kong Xiaoqiao was rather quiet. However, it didn't take long for things to change. He didn't know where she heard it from. Someone told her that a couple would only be a real couple if they slept together. Therefore, she wanted to sleep with him. When she saw him, she thought of ways to get close to him. She was so shameless that she made him extremely annoyed. He didn't even look at her small body. She wasn't even in yet, so Louis Qin couldn't do this. Point 2. Although he was married to Kong Xiaoqiao, he was still conflicted in his heart. No matter who was being blackmailed for no reason, they wouldn't be in a good mood. Moreover, he too. Thinking of this, Louis Chen's face couldn't help but sink, and his heart became even more stifled and panicked. However, what surprised him was that after Kong Xiaoqiao had been causing trouble for the past 2 days, he felt that something was different. That gaze of hers wanted to hook his soul. This was too unbelievable. Also today, when he thought of the strange state of his body, his face could not help but turn red again. Just as Louis Chen was letting his imagination run wild, someone suddenly came in. When he saw him, he smiled and said, "Unit Liu, where did I find you? So you're here, too." Louis Chen looked at the person who came. It was none other than the instructor of his unit, Feng Gang, who was also Wang Xiuhua's lover. He was big and burly. He looked like a King Kong with angry eyes, but his personality was very straightforward. Therefore, he put on a serious and cold expression in the blink of an eye. He buttoned up his shirt and said indifferently, "You're looking for me? What's the matter, too?" Feng Gang was used to Louis Chen's appearance, so he didn't mind at all. Instead, he said with a smile, "I'm looking for you for nothing but your new wife, he. The rumors are burning, but you're still in a mood to take a bath, too." When Louis Chen heard this, his buttoned hand suddenly stopped. He frowned and said, "Her? Kong Xiaoqiao? What's wrong now, too?" When Feng Gang heard this, he looked as if he was gloating over someone else's misfortune. This kind of expression on his burly body and the angry look on King Kong's face did not feel right. However, Louis Chen did not have the time to pay attention to this. After listening to Feng Gang's words, his entire face turned black. Too. Without saying a word, he took his coat and walked out. Feng Gang shouted from behind, Hey, wait for me, hey too." When Louis Chen angrily opened the door to his house, he immediately saw Kong Xiaoqiao sleeping soundly. Her peaceful, sleeping face and tired expression. Louis Chen looked at her and could not bear to wake her up. He sat on the edge of the Kong and looked at Kong Xiaoqiao attentively for a long time. He could not help but shake his head and sigh. Too. The outside world was going crazy. There were all kinds of rumors. On the way back, he had heard more than a few versions. In the past, although he never paid attention to these things, he could still hear people in front of him and behind them. Most of them said that Kong Xiaoqiao was shameless. She clung to him and shamelessly married him. Too. Regarding this, every time he heard it, his face would turn black. Although he was innocent, this was not a glorious matter. However, he could not go and argue with a group of family members, right? He could only swallow his anger silently. He could not say anything about the bitterness. They even said that Kong Xiaoqiao was an eccentric person. He did not know what she was thinking. He was usually a powerful person, but he was actually indifferent to this matter and allowed others to talk about it. Too. Louis Chen was angry and helpless. Marrying Kong Xiaoqiao was a nightmare. Even if Kong Xiaoqiao was good, the difference in status and the disparity in family background gave Louis Chen a headache. Although he knew that Kong Xiaoqiao had plotted to marry him, there were a lot of reasons that she had no choice or bad intentions. However, he was deep in this mud pit, but he couldn't get rid of it no matter how hard he tried. He had already been laughed at by others. Too. Although the thought of some people laughing with bad intentions made him very angry. What made him even more angry was that some things had changed because of this, catching him unprepared. Moreover, Kong Xiaoqiao was so immature after marriage. No matter which point of view one looked at it, Louis Chen didn't have a good impression of his newly married wife. Too. However, he had already married her. He was a wilderness man, so he had to bear the responsibility of being a husband. However, Louis Chen wasn't old, and he wouldn't get along with little girls even if he fought wolves in the wilderness all year round. Therefore, he was a little overwhelmed. Too. However, what he didn't expect was that most of the things he heard on the way back today were completely different. This made Louis Chen very surprised. I really didn't expect that every family has its own difficulties, too. That's right. I originally thought that the family of Unit Liu's Kong Xiaoqiao was shameless, but I didn't expect that she was forced to do so, too. You didn't expect it, and I didn't expect it either. There are 3 boys in the family, so it's no wonder that Unit Liu was dragged into this. No matter what, this betrothal gift money is more than what the outside world gives, too. Exactly. If it weren't for Liu Haiying's desperation this time, I think she would still be silently enduring it. What a good child. She's already in this state, yet she doesn't say anything bad about her family. Her family has put this child through a lot, too. This child is a kind and righteous person. However, that Liu Haiying is really not a person. How old is she? Her son has already run away, yet she still thinks about Unit Liu. TSK. How shameless, too. That's right. But keep your voice down so that people can't hear you. Since when was she, Kong Xiaoqiao, forced into a corner? How could she be pitiful, too? From the beginning to the end, the person who was forced into a corner was always himself, okay? Ever since he married Kong Xiaoqiao, trouble had come one after another. And now, no one knew what methods Kong Xiaoqiao used to actually make these people begin to sympathize with her point, too. Although Louis Qin was very dissatisfied with Kong Xiaoqiao allowing those people to talk, but hearing such words today, he couldn't help but twitch his lips. This ability to distort black and white was the same as her person. She could change at will. She was really shameless point, too. However, what made Louis Qin frown even more was, what did this have to do with sister-in-law Liu? 2. Louis Qin was originally huffing and puffing as he went home to interrogate Kong Xiaoqiao. In the end, he saw that she was exhausted and sleeping so soundly. He opened the door so loudly, but she did not hear it. He could not help but hesitate point 2. In the end, he looked at Kong Xiaoqiao and thought of something. His face suddenly turned red. Without saying anything, he turned around and left. He came and left in a hurry. A certain heartless girl did not know Louis Qin's dilemma at all. She was sleeping soundly at the moment, and she slept until dawn. She did not even wake up at dinner time, so she did not know if Louis Qin was back. She was really too tired. The next day, she had a good sleep and felt refreshed. Kong Xiaoqiao sat up and stretched herself. It was so good to be young. The sun was very bright today. After sleeping for an afternoon and an evening, Kong Xiaoqiao felt extremely refreshed. The feeling of having a body was really wonderful point too. Kong Xiaoqiao could not help but smile. Then she patted her little face twice, got up, folded the quilt, and went down to wash up. Today was no different from yesterday. As for whether Louis Qin had returned or not, Kong Xiaoqiao did not know either. She seriously washed her face, then walked in front of the mirror and beautifully looked at it for a while. After that, there were all sorts of dislikes. This perfectly fine face had been suntanned to the point of being extremely thin. It looked like a vegetable. One look, and one could tell that it was malnourished. There was also this small hand and this neck. Then, she looked at the legendary snow cream on the cabinet. She gently opened it, sniffed it with her nose, and wiped a little on her hand. Then, she curled her lips. Let's just deal with it first. If it was the Kong Xiaoqiao of the past, she wouldn't even bother to look at such a low-grade skincare product. The worst skincare product that she had developed was even better than this. But now, there was no other way. When I settle down, I will definitely make it lose its job. However, for now, there was nothing in her hand, so she could only brace herself and wipe her face. At the very least, it could still have a moisturizing effect.